And it's been Heartbreak City for the Xenia Scouts as 2 of the last 3 nights they have lost on walk-off winners. Last night up in Flat Rock, Michigan, it was of the walk-off home run variety as the Scouts lost that game against the Lake Erie Monks by a score of 5-4. Hello, everyone. I am Terry Lash alongside my broadcast partner, Lance Morris. Thank you for spending your 4th of July with us and the Xenia Scouts. Today we are at Simmons Field in Lima, Ohio, as the 5th place Scouts take on the 2nd place Locos. And Lance, it's been a 4-game losing streak for the Scouts. What do they have to do to turn things around?
Well, last night it was just a matter of them being unfortunate. You have 4 runs that was leading pretty much the whole contest until the 7th inning when the Monarchs went crazy to tie things up. And then a walk-off home run by Jason Gasser, their number 9 hitter, hit 2 home runs last night. I don't think he had a single home run going into that game. If anything, he had just 1. So the fact that he hits 2 home runs, you just got to kind of live with that, because if a guy's seeing the ball that well, it's going to be hard enough to get him out. So just a little bit unfortunate for the Scouts last night. They just need to have the bats awake and ready to go through every single inning, because there's been innings where they're hot, there's been some innings where they're not. If they can find a nice constant medium where the bats are awake, it should be good for them.
And Miles Wright getting his 2nd consecutive night to start off the lineup for the Scouts. He takes the first pitch for a strike. Opposing the Scouts today will be Tyler Anderson, a Bowling Green State University Falcon, who's 2-0 on the year. 0-1. Here's the second pitch to Miles Wright. The 7-0-3 first pitch, and now 0-2. Miles taking the first 2 pitches. Scouts started quickly yesterday. Got a run back in the first inning. Let's see if they can match that effort tonight. Here's the 0-2. Swung on and fouled into the Locos dugout. I think it might have hit a Locos player over there. And we'll do it again at 0-2 for number 2, Miles Wright, playing in right field today from St. Edward's University in Austin, Texas. A Katie Taylor product. And here comes the 0-2, and that one's going to be fouled away again. This time behind the Scouts dugout. So Miles Wright at 0-2, fighting a few off and staying alive. I'll do it again here at 0-2 as Tyler Anderson works on that right side of the rubber from the stretch with no one on. Here comes that 0-2 pitch, and that one is swung and fouled away again. Miles Wright staying alive. Quickly went down 0-2, then fouled away 3 straight pitches.
He's doing a good job staying alive up there. Hasn't seen anything outside of the strike zone, so he's been forced to keep swinging. He's been able to hack away and stay alive after falling behind 0-2.
Here comes the 0-2 right, and that was way up top. That one hit the ceiling, so now 1-2 as Miles sees his first ball of the day. We'll do it again at 1-2 now. And this righty versus righty battle between Anderson and Wright. Here's the 1-2. That one curves, and that one is going to be just fouled off the tippy top of the Scouts dugout. It's off the freshly renovated tiles. Remember, this is the 2nd time we've come down to Simmons Field. Scouts lost that first contest 15-7. That's the most runs given up by the Scouts this season in the game. So Miles Wright will step back to the dish. 1-2, we'll do it again. Long at bat to start this game. Here's the 1-2, and he got him swinging. He tried to hold up, but could not. So Miles Wright goes down.
That was just a nasty pitch down there below the strike zone, but wasn't able to lay off. Good pitch from Anderson to get his first strikeout of the day.
Good job by Anderson. That was a little low. Miles Wright could not hold off of it. So 1 batter, 1 strikeout for Tyler Anderson. As Christian Binger comes up to the plate, first pitch to Christian in there for a strike. 0-1 now to the 2nd baseman from Southwest Baptist University, Christian Binger. Right versus lefty this time. Binger grounds towards 2nd. Picked up and thrown to 1st, and that will do it for Christian Binger. So 2 up, 2 down for the Scouts. That was a good job by Logan Hunter Williams at 1st. Now here goes Kyle Carnahan, the Ichabod from Washburn University. So here goes Kyle Carnahan. He's been playing much better recently, and that one is fly to center field. London will try to get under that one, and he will. So 1, 2, 3. The Baby Blues go down in the top of the first inning. So the Scouts will come to the bottom of the first inning with Q McGrath hitting the rubber. And Lance, can you talk a little bit about the unbelievable seasons Q McGrath has had on the mound so far?
Well, Q has had just a fantastic season for the Baby Blue and Gray. He's been doing every single thing you can want your starting pitcher to do. He's gone deep into games. He hasn't given up runs. He's struck people out. He's allowed the defense to kind of take a little break because you know Q's going to get the strikeout. And some stats on him. He is 5-0. This will be his 5th official start. It'll be his 6th appearance technically. That's because he came in the second inning against Cincinnati way back when we were playing the Steam in the second game of that series. Wanting started off the game. He knew we could get an inning out of him. The bullpen was lacking arms, so they went to Wanting to start off the game because he had to go somewhere else, had to do some personal matters later on in the day, so I didn't want him to sit around and wait until potentially the 8th, 9th innings when you could just have him start off the game. So that's why this won't be technically that was technically not a start, even though he basically started that game. He has a .6 ERA. That's pretty dang good. He's thrown 30 innings so far, 23 strikeouts, 7 walks, 6 hits, and also another stat you won't find in the scorebook. Performed a perfect sit last night. If you're unaware what a perfect sit is, it cannot be completed by someone who's actually playing in the game because they have to, go in the field, go to the bullpen, what have you. Went and sat down on the bench before the game started and sat in the exact same spot the entire game until the walk-off home run was hit. Seth Hallmark performed a perfect stand. He's, of course, no longer with the team after had some injury issues. Performed a perfect stand against the Cincinnati Steam the day before Q had that nice start against the Steam.
So that's some inside information you're only going to get when you talk to the players right after the game. Perfect sits and perfect stands. I don't know how they roll those on point streak, but here comes the lefty Q McGrath with his signature pink glove, taking on Grant Williams, the shortstop from Kennesaw State, the Owl, and that one's inside for a ball. 1-0 from Q.
After him, it'll be Mitch Carragher, the right fielder, and then Will Kilgore, the third baseman.
And Q and wind up, and that one is down, a little bit high for a ball. So 2-0 now to Grant Williams, who came in today batting .245.
Williams 2 for 7 so far against the Scouts this year.
And here comes the 2-0 pitch, and that one misses a bit outside. So now 3 straight balls to start the game for Quentin McGrath, who stands on the right side of the rubber looking at home plate. He winds and deals. And that one's in the dirt, so a walk for Q to start this game. Uncharacteristic of Quentin McGrath to walk the first batter of the game.
And that's only Q's 8th walk on the year, so hasn't walked too many batters.
Again, you have to remember here at Simmons Field, Scouts gave up their most runs of the season. That was only the 3rd game of the year for the Scouts. We're now in game 25 on the year. Scouts coming in with a 14-10 record. Q looks at first. Now at the plate, Mitch Carragher. Pickoff attempt. Guess it's Cale Giddings who's getting the start at first for the 2nd consecutive day. His 1st consecutive start of the year after his 3-for-4 explosion yesterday. David Gaunt behind the plate. Also around the horn, Christian Binger at 2nd. Jordan Schaefer at short, and of course, Kyle Carnahan at 3rd. And that one is outside from Q McGrath. So Q has thrown 5 pitches, all of them balls.
For whatever reason, Q just not hitting his spots so far. We'll have to see if he can fix that early on in this inning.
Outfield for the Scouts, Levi Gilcrease in center field, Wyatt Hogan in left field, Miles Wright in right field. Q from the stretch, here it comes. And that one is right down the pipe, and that's the first strike thrown of the day from Q. Actually heard some of the Lake Erie Monarch players yesterday talking about Q McGrath and his unbelievable season so far. Another pickoff attempt, and Miles Wright told Q after the game, hey, I heard some of those guys at second base talk about, who's this guy that's 5-0 with a .6 ERA? Funny thing about that is, Q played against them.
The first game against the Monarchs. I don't know if they just forgot or they really have that much of a short-term memory. Just a questionable one.
And Williams on the run. Here's the throw from Gaunt. And as over the top of Schaefer's head, and he's going to be on his way to third. Picked up. And for third, and Kyle Carnahan gets him at third base. So what looked like a disaster for the Scouts. And it'll be a 2-6-4-5 put out as David Gaunt threw it too high for Jordan Schaefer, who was covering second base. Christian Binger picks it up, throws it to Kyle Carnahan at third to tag out Grant Williams. So stolen base and a caught stealing. And that one's we chopped over towards Cale Gaines. No, Christian Binger cannot get to it either, so it's going to be a single. Originally thought Cale was working towards that one. Then Binger made a diving attempt to his left. Also couldn't get his leather on the ball. So a single to Mitch Carragher. That's going to bring out Will Kilgore from Georgia State University.
Kilgore has 5 home runs on the season and is 3 for 9 against the Scouts.
So running around first, 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. Scoreless ball game. That one too far inside for a ball from Q.
Q is definitely missing on the inside. The right-handers on the outside part of the plate.
And now we'll see Carragher get his leadoff at first base, being held on by Cale Giddings. First baseman from Lake Erie Colors, Akron transfer. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that one's going to be chopped over to Carnahan at third. Throws it to Binger at second, towards first, and in time, the 5-4-3 double play will end the first inning. And after one, it is the baby blue and grays of the Xenia Scouts 0 and the white and orange and blue trimming of the Lima Locos at 0 as well. Lance Morris, looks like Q might have been a little off from what we're used to seeing this year, but nevertheless gets out of the inning with a 1-2-3 inning.
And that's a sign of a good pitcher. If you can find ways to get out when you don't have your best stuff, that's exactly how you're going to keep moving on through innings, find ways to rack up wins. And like you said, not characteristic of him. Usually he's always hitting his spot. The last time he started, it seemed like every single pitch he threw was on that outside corner. And right now, at least, he's missing on that outside corner. So if he can get it together, then we're going to see the Q we've been used to seeing. And if not, we're going to have to see if he can find different ways to get guys out, even though he doesn't have his best stuff.
Now, usually Q is not going to blow right by you. His fastball, I say, around 90 at its peak, and he's just so good at hitting his spots and using movement to get out batters. That time missing those spots, and you can see it happen with that initial walk to start off this game, then a single given up. But because of the caught stealing on Williams as he was advanced to second on the steal and try to press his leg and go to third, after the ball soared over the head of Jordan Schaefer, then he was tagged out by Kyle Carnahan. That set up that 5-4-3 double play. Now it's going to be the 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Scouts. And Lance, who would those be?
Coming up for the Scouts, it'll be David Gaunt getting the start behind the dish tonight. That'll be Cale Giddings. He's playing first. He went 3 for 4 last night against the Monarchs. That'll be Zach Wiley playing the DH role.
And Gaunt swinging. That one goes foul. Third base line is blocked from my vantage point, so for most third base calls, I'm going to defer to my partner, Lance Morris.
He stole second, so he was thrown out as third.
So we'll do it again at 0-1 here to David Gaunt. Comes in the game with 5 homers, and he is plunked between the 1 and the 7 on the back of his baby blue jersey. So that'll be the first base runner of the day for the Scouts as David Gaunt's hit by a pitch.
And usually it's his Washburn teammate getting hit by the pitches. So uncharacteristic for us to see David, but that'll be his third. That'll put him tied for second on the team with Christian Binger in the hit by pitch category.
And those, of course, 1/3 of the total. The Boulder Kyle Carnahan has been hit this season. So Cale Giddings coming up to the plate. You mentioned it earlier, his 3 for 4 day yesterday. Scored twice. And a 5-4 loss to the Lake Erie Monarchs. Swings and tips that one back into the chain link fence that vibrates in front of us. Now 0-1 to Cale Giddings, who was recently nicknamed Paul Bunyan for his lumberjack physique. David Gaunt on first base. Cale Giddings at the plate. Here's the 0-1, and that one's fouled backwards as well. And now it's going to be an 0-2 count to Giddings, who is slightly behind Tyler Anderson.
And an interesting fact, Cale's brother Logan is committed to BGSU, so soon to be teammate of pitcher Tyler Anderson.
Here comes the 0-2, and that one's chopped over towards third base. And Kilgore and safe for Giddings after originally I thought Gong might have got there in time, but the 5-4 fielder's choice sets down the lead runner David Gaunt. And it was a very close play over there. Second, and Zach Wiley steps to the dish.
And sometimes that's all you can do when you're Kale. You're down 0-2. You just got to find a way to put the ball in play. You'd probably prefer you don't hit it right at the third baseman and set up a potential double play opportunity, but was able to hustle it out and get safe over at first.
And that's going to bring up Zach Wiley, playing designated hitter today. Also see him at catcher. One out here in the top of the second inning. It's a scoreless game between the Scouts and the Locos. And a pickoff attempt towards first base. Kale Giddings back in time. We will not see Kale move this year at 6'3", 245, the biggest player on the team. Be shocked to see him try to swipe a base. 1-0 to Wiley, and that was low for a ball. So 2-0 to the catcher from Union University in Jackson, Tennessee.
And I was actually talking to Kale on the van ride over, and I was like, yeah, yesterday they were trying to pick you off. And I said, I always say this during the broadcast, whenever you and Zach are on base, you're not going to run.
Here comes the 2-0 to Wiley, and that one is high and inside for a ball. So 3 straight balls to Zach Wiley as he's going to try to draw a walk and put runners on first and second. Giddings takes his lead, and here comes a 3-0 pitch. Wiley taking all the way, and he'll take his base. So Zach Wiley, who has been struggling recently, gets on first with the walk, and that will put runners on first and second for Levi Gilcrease, who had a nice day yesterday.
Yeah, Levi went 2 for 4 yesterday, kind of broke out of the slump he'd been having. He's 2 for 8 in this series against Locos, and this is probably the slowest base running lineup we've had with Kale and Wiley on the base paths.
You're absolutely right, Lance. Glad to see the big man move, and Gilcrease cuts at the first one, fouls it back into that chain link fence. Count is now 0-1 to Gilcrease. Levi now above the Mendoza line, and 207 on the year. He's struggling recently. Does lead the league in strikeouts, but yesterday had a nice day at the plate with his family in attendance. Here comes the pitch, and that one's chopped over. Kale Giddings has to ballerina his way, and everyone's going to be safe. And that one, Williams cannot handle it. I don't know if the big body of Kale Giddings obstructed the view of Williams. They're going to rule it an error. So an E6 is going to load the bases, and now they're chalked for Wyatt Hogan.
And that was an unfortunate play there for Williams at short because Kale was kind of dancing, making sure the ball didn't hit him, because had the ball hit him, he would have, of course, been out. So Williams just had to make sure he could field the ball wherever it may land, because he thought it might have ricocheted off of Kale, but nothing doing. Everybody's safe.
Bases loaded, 1 out here for Wyatt Hogan, who takes the first pitch outside for a ball from Tyler Anderson. So Gilcrease on first. Wiley on second, Kale Giddings on third, Wyatt Hogan at the plate with 1 out here and a scoreless ball game at Simmons Field on 4th of July. Here's the 1-0. That one's chopped behind us. Now it's line backwards. 1-1 now. Count even to Wyatt Hogan, who has been, as Lance mentioned, with that 148 average, struggling recently. On the on-deck circle right now for the Scouts will be Jordan Schaefer, the shortstop. Getting his 4th start of the season. Lee Solomon not with us today. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and that one's going to be blew towards right field and will drop. And that's going to be a force out second to Levi Gilcrease. But that RBI single does bring home Kale Giddings. As Wyatt Hogan's that's going to be ruled a fielder's choice.
Because the right fielder, Mitch Carriger, was able to field the ball quick enough and get it in the second.
So an RBI for Wyatt Hogan. And the Scouts are up by a 1-0 score here in the top of the second inning. Jordan Schaefer now at the plate with runners on the corners. And that one well inside to Schaefer. 1-0 now with Wyatt Hogan on first and Zach Wiley on third.
Yeah, Schaefer with not too many at-bats so far for the Scouts. Just got into camp last week.
Second pitch to him. That's going to be chopped, and that one's going to roll back in and fair. So that one originally foul, rolled back to the right in fair play, picked up by Anderson. Now there's going to be runs on first and second, and that brings home Zach Wiley. So a 2-0 score now on the peculiar play on the dribbler. That puts the Scouts up by 2.
That's exactly what Levi did when he was bunting, and during BP yesterday he bunted, it went foul, and it somehow came back in, and Jordan Schaefer did just that, but it was off of a full swing, and he'll definitely take that hit in RBI as he's been struggling so far. Came in today hitting .077 in the average category.
So that's going to be a couple of runs put up here in the top of the second for the Baby Blues. As we're going back to the top of the order with Miles Wright. He struck out last time as he tried to check his swing, but went too far to Tyler Anderson. 2-0 for the Scouts. Wyatt Hogan on second base. Jordan Schaefer on first, and it's the bottom of the Scouts lineup that have really come through so far in this game. And it's the 8-9 hitters, both with RBIs apiece. Look at the 2-0 score. An error from Grant Williams at shortstop earlier, really coming back to haunt the Locos. So Anderson throws towards Miles Wright. That one's going to be grounded towards second base. Logan picks it up, throws to first, and that will do it for the top of the second inning. Scouts leave 2-1, but Xenia Scouts do put 2 runs across the board, and now going to the bottom of the second is Xenia Scouts 2, Lima Locos goose egg, and that's a great inning for the Scouts, Lance.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. We saw them struggle last time out. When they played the Locos last year, at least. If it wasn't for David Gaunt just going bonkers from the plate, had 2 3-run home runs in that contest, and he actually scored the other run. So if it wasn't for David having a great game that first time we played the Locos, the Scouts would be non-existent on the scoreboard. So you get a couple runs, even if they are in weird fashion, like we mentioned with the ball that went foul and then somehow rolled back in fair. That's not going to happen very often. So you got to just kind of take that as it is and make the most of those runs, because you don't know how many you're going to get.
So Q will start his second inning of work now, and he's in a good spot. So if he has a Q-type performance, he'll be going away with his 6th victory of the season. But against one of the better teams in the conference, Lima Locos, coming into this game number 2 in the Great Lakes League standings. Of course, the team that absolutely lit up the Xenia Scouts in their first contest, scoring 15 runs. So that's something Q's going to be on the look for. But substituted from the Locos starting 9 today was Brett Murray, who is one of the best players in the league that has not going to see action tonight on the 4th of July against the Xenia Scouts.
Yeah, a little peculiar that he wasn't in the lineup. Like you mentioned, one of the top hitters in the league. It's really been between him and David Gaunt for the league lead in RBIs. They've been battling back and forth basically since the Lima Locos and the Scouts first played.
Here comes Hunter Williams, first pitch to him, inside for a strike. Williams, the first baseman from Tulane University, down in New Orleans. And here comes the 0-1 Williams. That one's way up top. 1-1, as you can see, the dust of the glove just come off the mid of David Gaunt. Here comes the 1-1. That was low in the dirt.
After Williams, it will be 2 players from Mississippi State. It'll be Luke Reynolds, the left fielder, and then Cole Gordon, the DH. He played first base and pitched the first time the Lima Locos and the Scouts faced up.
A few winds and fires. That one's hit to left center field. It's popped high in the sky. And Levi Gilcrease makes the catch at the wall to rob the homer. Levi Gilcrease strolled to left center field. Simmons fields 400 feet dead center. 327 at the left corner. So I'm going to put that one around 375, 380 range. Levi Gilcrease reaches his glove past the wall and brings it back. What a start for Gilcrease in the field.
Yeah, Gilcrease can just do it all in center field like we mention all the time, whether it's with his glove and with his arm. great play to rob a home run.
Here comes Luke Reynolds. That one's going to be hit towards KO. Giddings at first and in play and out now. First pitch winning for Luke Reynolds. And KO has no problem taking that ball, putting him away himself.
Yeah, the outs don't get much easier than that as first baseman. A simple ground ball and able to just stroll over to first and take it yourself without having to worry. Just flip it to your pitcher for the out.
Now here comes a 6'6" designated hitter, the second Bulldog in succession, Cole Gordon. First pitch to him inside for a ball, 1-0 now.
Gordon has 2 home runs and 5 RBIs on the season.
Not surprised, he's a giant, 1-0. That one's hit high into the air. Levi Gilcrease backing up in deep center field towards the warning track and put away. So 2 deep balls that Levi Gilcrease is able to put away in a great inning for the center fielder from Baylor University, originally from Tampa, Florida. Levi Gilcrease making his mark early in this contest as the Scouts give him daps in the dugout.
And the Locos, kind of like the Joes, each team has a lot of pop in their lineup. The Locos don't have quite as many home runs as the Joes do, but no one has as many home runs as the Joes do. So similar to the Joes, the Scouts going to have to just find ways to get these Locos hitters down when they can, because like we've mentioned multiple times, the first time these two teams played, Locos put up 15 runs. So definitely a very capable lineup that Q is going against here today.
Seth Hallmark got the start in that contest, and then we saw a myriad of relief pitchers. Thomas Wanning played a little bit of that game. Nick Street got his first appearance of the season in that game as well. We also saw Lincoln Reed pitched 2 innings to close out the game for the Scouts. He pitched in the 7th and 8th. And Scouts coming into the top of the 3rd inning now have a 2-0 lead over the Lima Locos. Remember, Scouts came into this week 2nd in the league standings and have dropped 4 straight games, have not got a victory this week. They've lost 2 on walk-offs. Second one down in Hamilton against the Joes on a 2 RBI single. And second to last night on a walk-off home run. And the Scouts have been struggling mightily for the first time this year. It was their first 3-game losing streak, so of course the first 4-game losing streak as Christian Binger steps up to the plate. Here goes the first pitch from Anderson, in there for a strike.
Binger so far 1 for 9, including that plate appearance in the first inning. That 1 hit was the game winner in the second game against the Locos.
And that one's going to be flown backwards for a foul ball, so 0-2 now to Christian Binger. Playing second base. Lee Solomon again not with us today, missed yesterday's game as well, will rejoin the team tomorrow. And the 0-2 is going to be grounded toward Logan at second, and for the 3rd time today, Logan easily puts it away. He's had no troubles over there at second, and for the 2nd straight time, puts away Christian Binger. So Kyle Carnahan will come up to the plate. Last time he flew out to center field, and Kyle London.
On the defensive side for the Locos there. 1 out in the top of the 3rd inning here.
Scouts up 2-0 here in the top of the 3rd. 1 out and first strike to Kyle Carnahan inside corner. 0-1 now to Carnahan. Mr. Hot Quarter himself getting his 25th consecutive start at 3rd base tonight. Here comes the 0-1. That one's hit to deep left field. Reynolds makes chase, and it's gone. Kyle Carnahan extends the lead to 3 with his 2nd home run of the season. So Kyle Carnahan showing off the lumber on that one. And we're used to seeing David Gahn, who comes to play now, his Ichabod teammate, hitting the homers, but that time Kyle Carnahan shows off his strength.
And we always see that with Kyle. He always gets underneath the ball, and it's just a matter of if he can get it deep enough. And that time he finally got it deep enough, because earlier on in that inning, and we saw it yesterday against the Monarchs, he had very long fly balls that just didn't quite get out.
And here goes David Gahn, takes the first pitch high for a ball. That's the 3rd run of the game for the Scouts. The first one earned to Tyler Anderson. 3-0 score, 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. David Gahn at the dish, 1-0 pitch in the dirt. As the dust flies away for a 2-0 count now to David. He was hit by a pitch last time he was up. Scouts up 3-0 on the Lima Locos. As that 2-0 is fouled down the third baseline, and they'll do it again at 2-1. Scouts put 2 on the board. Back in the top of the second inning, off of only 1 hit.
Gone 2 for 8 so far in this series. Those 2 hits and runs.
And the 2-1 is swung on and missed by Gaunt. Big swing by David, but he got a whole lot of nothing on that one. So 2-2 now, evened up to the catcher from Washburn University, David Gaunt. He swings his stick. Here's the 2-2, and that one is outside for a ball. Breaks outside and make it full at 3-2. First full count of the game. Here comes the payoff pitch from Anderson. That one's hit to left center field. Looks like this one might hang up a bit, and Kyle London will put it away right around the wall. So kind of a role reversal there. We're usually seeing David Gaunt hit the homer. Kyle Carnahan getting a little too far under it. This time Kyle Carnahan with the homer, and David Gaunt a little too far under that baseball as it's put away in deep center field.
And the Washburn-Ichabod duo of Carnahan and Gaunt have almost every single home run on the Scouts.
And Cale Giddings up to the plate now. He fouls that one up to the third quadrant of this chain link fence.
And the only other home run that wasn't hit by either of them was a solo home run from Lee Solomon to lead off a game a few weeks ago.
So 0-1 now to Cale Giddings. Got on with a fielder's choice last time up. Here's the 0-1. That one's a bit high and outside, evened up at 1 apiece. Cale Giddings got on with a fielder's choice last inning and scored first run of this ball game. 1-1 now to Giddings. That one chopped over towards third base as it bounces by the Locos dugout. 1-2 now to Giddings. And the last 3 times Cale's got on, they've kept him on. Yesterday on his third hit was replaced by Austin Orr to pinch run. Cale's come home to score. So not a nimblest player on the team, but has found a way to come home every time he's got on base in his last 3 times without being replaced. Here comes the 1-2. That one outside for a ball. Good eye by Giddings. He was up at 2-2.
And Cale might not be the fleetest of foot, but definitely a very smart base runner out there.
So 2-2, 2 outs, 3-0 score. That one's hit high. Might have kissed the sun. And Lipari puts it away, and that's going to do it for the top of the third inning. But Scouts do play 1 run as Kyle Carnahan goes deep and extends the lead to 3-0 as we're going to the bottom of the third inning here at Simmons Field on the 4th of July. Thank you for listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball with Lance Morris and myself, Terry Lash.
So the Scouts looking pretty good thus far. We haven't seen the best out of Quentin Q. McGrath. So if we do start seeing just straight domination from the mound, Scouts could definitely pull away in this one.
It's weird that we say that because it's not. Q seemed a little off with his pitch location. He's been 6 up, 6 down.
Yeah.
So it's been that type of season
no for
Quentin McGrath from East Central University in Ada, Oklahoma. Originally transferred from junior college in California. McGrath sports that pink glove to support his mother, who is a breast cancer survivor. Actually, the other day, Q tweeted his mother was actually given another clean bill of health at a recent appointment. So, Mr. McGrath listening at home, God bless, and what great news that is as he continues to hear great news. And that's just such an unbelievable story that Q shared with us earlier this year, and that's his motivation every time he steps on that rubber. And here comes Kyle London, the center fielder. Outside corner just misses that outside for the first ball of the at-bat.
London, one of the late arrivals to this Locos, so we didn't see him the first 2 times the Scouts and Locos played.
1-0 pitch, and that one inside for a strike. London looked like he disagreed, thought it was a little too far inside. London, a Husky from Washington University. Locos going all the way to the West Coast. And here comes the 1-1. That one's chopped over towards third and foul, so 1-2 now to Kyle London. Q still looking for his first strikeout of the day.
And you mentioned how the Locos go all the way out to the West Coast. We do have a player from Hawaii.
That is true. Joe Chasen from Hawaii. Here comes the 1-2, and that one Looks like it must have hit the bat. It was right at the hands of Kyle London. So 1-2 now. I don't know if that hit his hands or if it just hit
the bottom of the bat.
Above or below it. Hard to tell. Umpire obstructed our view, but regardless, 1-2 again. That one swung on and missed. Q gets his first K of the day.
That'll be his 24th on the season.
And Q puts Kyle London down on one knee, proposing to him because he tried to swing at that one. But we just saw the dirt come up in the air and no ball come out of the glove of David Gaunt. So one down here in the bottom of the third. That one is going to be towards center field and it's going to drop. Looks like it's going to be a double for Billy Lapari as Levi Gilchrist sends it in. And picked up by Jordan Schaefer, but a first pitch swinging stand-up double for Billy Lapari, the ace from Evansville University in Evansville, Illinois.
And that's his first hit in the series against the Scouts. Came in 0 for 4.
So you have to think he took a different approach to Q. We've seen a lot of these Locos batters being patient with McGrath on the rubber. This time, Lapari just goes up there, swings away at the very first pitch of the day. He faces against Q, and he gets a double. So 1 on, 1 out. Runner in scoring position with a 3-0 Xenia Scouts lead here in the bottom of the third. Q McGrath on the mound against Trey Logan, the second baseman. And that one's a strike to Logan. Logan from Georgia University. A lot of these players from down south on this Lima Locos team. 0-1 now to Logan. Q looks at David Gaunt at the plate. Raises his knee and then steps off the rubbers. He's checking Lapari over there on second base. Lapari with no steal attempts on the year. Here comes the one. That one inside corner for a strike. That one just breaks in to make it 0-2 to Trey Logan.
Trey Logan 2 for 3 thus far against the Scouts, looking to extend that streak.
One out here in the bottom of the third inning. Xenia Scouts up 3-0. Thank you for listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball. 0-2 pitch to Trey Logan. That one's going to be chopped over to Jordan Schaefer. Picks it up. Throws it to first in time to Cale Giddings. That will advance Billy Lapari, though, to third base. But 2 down now in the bottom of the third. And we're going back to the top of the Locos lineup.
That brings up Grant Williams, who reached on a 4-pitch walk from Q in that opening inning. He stole second, and then after a missed throw, tried to get third as well and was caught trying to steal third. So he has 5 steals, 3 times caught on the season.
Those are 4 straight balls from Q McGrath to Grant Williams. Start his day on the mound, so we'll see if Q can deliver his first strike of the day to the shortstop, Grant Williams. First pitch is going to be swung on, hit towards left field, and put away by Wyatt Hogan. He barely even had a move and muscle for that one, and that will do it in the bottom of the third inning. So the Locos threaten as they put Billy Lapari on third base after a stand-up double, and then he was moved over to third from Trey Logan, 6-3 put out, but Grant Williams with a runner on third cannot bring him home as he lines out to Wyatt Hogan. And after 3 innings of play, the Xenia Scouts have 3 runs on the board. They lead 3-0 over the Lima Locos.
So like we said, for one of the keys for the Scouts today would be to have those bats awake early and often, and it's been mostly the bottom of their lineup outside of Carnahan going deep. The bottom of the lineup has done pretty well so far. Hogan got on with an RBI, as did Jordan Schaefer right behind him. So the bottom of the order doing a lot of the legwork thus far for the Scouts.
Tyler Anderson coming back for his 4th inning of work. Tyler's most innings pitched in a single game this season has been 4, so don't expect him to go much longer if he gets through this inning.
This is only Anderson's 2nd start on the season, although he does have 2 wins.
So he's done great in relief. Today with a 3-0 score, only one of those runs earned to him, though, and that was a solo shot homer we saw in the top of the third inning by the third baseman, Kyle Carnahan. And Lance, what is the side coming out here in the top of the 4th inning for the Xenia Scouts?
Coming up for the Scouts, it'll be Zach Wiley. He got on with a walk. He came around to score. And then it was Levi Gilcrease. He got on with an error by shortstop Grant Williams. He was then thrown out at second on a fielder's choice. That the next guy, Wyatt Hogan, hit into that later scored Wiley.
So we had a rumbling, tumbling second inning as the big man getting on base and moving on the base pass, and Zach Wiley, one of those big men, up at the dish again. First pitch from Anderson is going to be foul backwards. Got under that one, pushed it behind us, so it was an 0-1 count to the designated hitter today, Zach Wiley. He also plays catcher. Takes the bat off his shoulder. We'll do it again at 0-1. That one curves, just misses the strike zone. Beautiful pitch by Anderson. Didn't curve enough, but originally looked like it might strike Wiley, but almost came in for a strike. Here comes the 1-1. Swung on and hit towards third base hard, but it's going to be easily put away. But no, thrown far too high. And that's going to be a second error of the day on the Locos. Zach Wiley should have been out with a throw from Will Kilgore. Way too high to Hunter Williams. Williams stands at 6 feet tall. You need to be about 6'8" to be able to pull in that one. Maybe they should have had Cole Gordon at first. He might have been able to bring that one down, but regardless, the error is going to put Zach Wiley on second base. And that one's outside of Levi Gilcrease is at the plate now, who got on error last time he was up. That error was on Grant Williams at short. Here's the story of the day yesterday for Scouts. They had 3 of them in that 5-4 walk-off loss. As Wiley gets back to second, no one holding him on. We'll see if Trey Logan and Grant Williams start to creep in now. Looks like there's some activity in the Locos bullpen. Here comes the 1-0 to Gilcrease, and that one's going to be hit high in the sky towards right field, put away by Mitch Carrigan. Of course, Zach Wiley is not going to even fathom tagging you up on that one. He's going to walk back to second base, and 1 down now for the Scouts.
Warming up, it's Ryan Ruggles from UAB.
So Ruggles warming up. The 6'4" lefty. They're from Sheffield, Alabama. See if bring him in here in the top of the 4th inning with a 3-0 deficit. The Scouts lead 3-0 over the Lima Locos with Wyatt Hogan at the plate. Zach Wiley on second, 1 out here. That first pitch high to Hogan. Again, Scouts with a 3-0 lead. And we're in the top of the 4th inning. So 1-0 count to left fielder from Hendrix College. That one misses outside for a ball, so 2-0 now to Wyatt Hogan.
Hogan, of course, hit into the fielder's choice and brought home a run his last at bat.
2-0 now to Hogan. Hendrix Warrior with 1 out here. 3-0 lead for the Scouts, and that one outside as well. Anderson of great disdain on his face as you cannot paint that corner. 3 straight balls to Wyatt Hogan.
Just like he was struggling in the first inning, Anderson struggling here in the top of the 4th.
3-0 count. Wiley on second. That one's high as well, and he's going to walk Wyatt Hogan. That's his second walk of the day. So Wyatt Hogan gets on his second time of the game, and has not got a hit yet. He got on with a fielder's choice last time. That brought home a run here in the top of the 4th. He draws a walk, and here comes Jordan Schaefer, the shortstop, who had a RBI single. First pitch to him, outside corner for a strike. Schaefer had a peculiar ball that was fouled and rolled back fair. He had a lot of topspin on it or something going on that one. Put a magic spell to put it back into fair play. Now with an 0-1 count, runners on first and second. That one's going to be high into the air. Hunter Williams trying to chase it and will unable to do so. So 0-2 now to Jordan Schaefer. Came into the game with a .077 average. His 1 hit on the year coming into today's contest was a double recently became a part of the Xenia Scouts, and today with that RBI infield single.
Second base, he reached on that air.
So 1 out now, still here in the top of the 4th inning. 3-0 Scouts. Runners on first and second. Schaefer at the dish, and Wiley's got to dive back in time.
Again, he won't be running.
He's
He's going to run the balls hit, yeah, but not before that.
Wiley gets a big lead on second. That one's going to be tipped behind us, and another foul ball from Schaefer, and he's doing a good job staying alive against Anderson as Ryan Ruggles is warming up in the Locos bullpen. Here comes the 0-2 to Jordan Schaefer. He'll do it again, and Anderson's going to step off the rubber. On deck for the Scouts will be Miles Wright. He's 0 for 2 in this contest. And here comes the pitch, and swung on and missed. Schaefer goes down, swinging, chasing that one outside of the zone. So that's going to put 2 away here in the top of the 4th inning. Scouts still with runners on first and second, and Wyatt Hogan and Zach Wiley. And here comes Miles Wright.
Everything's unarmed again.
Last time Miles was up,
Miles right here. He has struck out.
he had runners on first and second as well as he left Wyatt Hogan and Jordan Schaefer stranded last time. So we'll see what Miles does here with Wyatt and Zach Wiley on base, and he's going to take time.
Miles struggling a little bit thus far. He went 2 for 4 last night against the Locos, 0 for 2 right now.
And here comes the first pitch, and misses for a ball. Another beautiful curve from Anderson.
Tyler Anderson trying to sneak in there with a first pitch curveball, but no go.
2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. 3-0 Scouts. Runners on first and second. Miles right at the plate. 1-0 count from Tyler Anderson. He checks second, throws to home, and that one's going to be chopped over towards third and easily put away by Will Kilgore as he steps on the bag and steps on the backs of the Xenia Scouts to end the 4th. Top of the 4th inning for the Xenia Scouts, and we'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Xenia Scouts still with that 3-0 lead as Q McGrath heads back to the mound. So that'll be a total of 4 base runners left on so far. Excuse me, Lance.
And the Scouts had a nice inning there without actually having a hit. Wiley got on by the form of air, and then Wyatt Hogue got on with the walk. So even though the bat didn't really reach the ball, still found a way to get some guys on and make the Locos work harder than they needed to.
If you look at his stat line, you wouldn't believe Tyler Anderson is down 3-0 in this contest. He's given up 2 hits for 3 runs, only 1 of them earned. The only big problem for today's start from Anderson was that big solo shot that Kyle Carney had hit back in the top of the 3rd inning. But we're going to go to the bottom of the 4th now with a 3-0 score. And Lance is coming up for the Locos.
Coming up for the Locos, it'll be 2-3-4. They'll be led off by Mitch Carragher, the right fielder. He got a hit in his last at-bat. Then it was Will Kilgore. He grounded into the 5-4-3 double play back in the 1st. Then it'll be Hunter Williams. He flew out to center fielder Levi Gilcrease, but that wasn't an ordinary flyout as Levi robbed him of a solo home run.
But here comes Carragher. Came in the game batting .388 from Maryville. First pitch to him from Q, right down the equator for a strike. 0-1.
Still not used to you saying right down the equator.
Right down the middle of the planet, Lance. 0-1 from Q, and that one curves in, and it's going to be fouled backwards from Carragher. So quickly, Q going right after Carragher to start this bottom of the 4th inning with a 3-0 lead behind him.
Oh, and 2 here to Mitch.
Only 2 Locos have hit on today. Carragher, 1 of them. That one misses outside, so it's going to be 1-2 now to the right fielder. Q back on the rubber. Pitches from the windup.
But I take it across the street.
1 and 2.
Here comes that 1-2 pitch, and that one's dug out, hit towards center field, and it's going to be curved right into the glove of Levi Gilcrease. Originally thought it might be going towards right center, but it had a nice slice on it, right towards the waiting Levi. So that's going to be Will Kilgore, the Georgia State Panther.
Yeah, I have one report.
In this lefty versus righty battle. And here comes the first pitch from Q. Swung on and miss from Kilgore. So 0-1 now to the third baseman, who just ended the top of the fourth inning for the Scouts with that unassisted fielder's choice. And here comes a throw out. Oh, got the outside corner for a strike. So 0-2 now to Will Kilgore.
33 pitches and 21 strikes from Q here from the Xenia Scouts. 2 here to Kilgore.
33-21.
Q gets the 0-2 pitch down well outside. Kind of a throwaway to see if he can get Kilgore to chase of that one. He will not, and will do it again at 1-2. Kilgore with 5 homers on the year. Good for second in the league. Tied with Scouts catcher David Gaunt. Here's the 1-2. That one curves in and is fouled away towards the bullpen equipment over there for the Lima Locos.
Kilgore got way underneath that one. Just wasn't able to stay on top of that one, get that one in play.
1-2 counting again. Thank you for listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball with Lance Morris and myself, Terry Lash. Q McGrath on the mound. Does it at 1-2. Swung on and missed. And I don't know if they're ruling a strikeout or drop third play. What's going on there? Now they're going to say it was a strikeout. We couldn't tell if it was a drop third strike or not. Kilgore ran to first. Like it was a drop third.
I think it wasn't properly signaled there by the umpire. Umpire probably just went strike 3 and didn't make the out signal. So that's why David Gaunt just kept going about his business, because he thought it would be just a regular strikeout. So he threw it to Carnahan for the around the horn.
That brings up Hunter Williams. First pitch to him. Curves outside for a ball. Very interesting play, but it will go down as Q's second strikeout of the day. 1-0 now to Williams. And here comes that 1-0 pitch well inside and low for a ball. If you remember correctly, last time Williams was up, the first baseman from Tulane hit a deep fly ball to center field that was brought back from the depths of scoring from Levi Gilcrease to keep this one scoreless. 2-0 count to him now. Here comes the pitch, and that one's going to be chopped right up the middle into center field for a single. So Hunter Williams getting good bat on the ball in today's contest. Gets his first hit of the day with that single right back up the middle. That's going to be the third hit allowed of the day for Q McGrath.
So each time Williams has came up to the plate, it's been very well hit balls. One of them was just robbed of being a home run. The other one, a nice little base hit past Schaefer at short.
Now it brings up the left fielder, Luke Reynolds, the first of the back-to-back Mississippi State Bulldogs in this lineup. Reynolds last time grounded out to Cale Giddings at first base. First pitch to him. Curves in there for a strike. Beautiful pitch from Q McGrath.
And after not having his curveball working in the first inning or so, curveball is definitely back where it needs to be.
3-0 Scouts. 1-0 count. 1 on here with 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth as that one is sliced away foul. 0-2 now quickly to Luke Reynolds. Came in the day batting .300 on the season.
He's 2 for 6 so far against the Scouts.
So batting .333 against the Scouts.
0-2 here to Luke Reynolds.
And he grounded out in his first at bat. 0-2 now. Q trying to get it out of the fourth inning. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one's going to be head towards right field, and that's going to stay fair. Miles Wright's going to race back to it. I think they're going to send home Williams. He's throwing it home. And Hunter Williams is going to be in there in time when the stand for Luke Reynolds. So that's going to make a 3-1 ball game.
And that was just a well-hit ball down that right field line, went all the way to the wall. Not much you could do with that one in the field, but an improper throw made sure that Luke Reynolds would get all the way to third with the RBI triple.
So 3-1's the score now. Luke Reynolds sits at third base. Cole Gordon, his Mississippi teammate, at the dish. Now the lefty versus the lefty, Q McGrath. First pitch to him. Now he's going to be hit high in the air on the first pitch. Miles Wright getting under it, and we'll put it away. So that will do it for the fourth inning. As a helicopter flies over. You might be able to see that on the webcam. The 2 hits and run in that inning for the Lima Locos, and it cuts this lead by a third. So 3-1, Scouts now leading.
And now we're going to have Ryan Ruggles come out in relief of Anderson.
We saw him warming up earlier. Actually only had 2 hits on that inning for the Locos.
Ruggles, big pitcher. Here we go.
So Ryan Ruggles from UAB, 187 pounds, 6'4", left field, originally from Sheffield, Alabama. Lance saw him warming up earlier. So Tyler Anderson goes 4 innings. And Lance, what else can you tell us about the day for Tyler Anderson?
Anderson went 4 innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned run, the other one's unearned because of errors, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts.
So now both teams, through 4 innings of play, have left 2 runners on base. Scouts lead 3-1 as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Lance, who has the side coming out for the Scouts?
Coming up for the Scouts will be exactly what we had back in the 3rd inning. It'll be led off by Christian Binger. He's grounded out to second base a couple times. It'll be Kyle Carnahan. He flew out to center field his first at-bat, and then had a solo shot back in the 3rd. That'll be David Gaunt. He flew out to center field his last time up and was hit by a pitch the at-bat before that.
So we'll see what Ryan Ruggles brings to the table.
What's your Twitter handle? Lima Usher. Catch out everything for Tom Usher at Lima Usher on Twitter. Tell you what, never a calm moment with Usher on Twitter.
So from a Falcon to a Blazer, Ryan Ruggles will now take on Christian Binger. And his first 2 plate appears, Binger grounded out to second base. See what he does here against the lefty Ruggles. And first pitch in there for a strike in this lefty-lefty battle. Oh, 1 now to Bing, and that one misses outside for a ball. Christian with 18 walks on the year to lead the team. 1-1. Now as we shot towards second base, but this one's going to get through. Christian Binger for the 3rd straight time. Grounds it towards second. This one does get through, though, as it gets by the diving grab of Trey Logan, and it's going to be a single for Christian Binger.
And I was talking with Christian on Van Right Over a couple days ago when we were going out to Hamilton, and I said, yeah, I think you've got 18 walks. He's like, that's more than I have in hits. Now he's got his hit total back up to 20, so 2 more hits than walks on the season.
Here comes Carnahan. First pitch to him is low for a ball. 1-0.
He's got 9 strikeouts.
Binger on first base, and last time Carnahan was up, he had that solo shot to left center field. It's got to be on the mind of Ryan Ruggles. R squared with the throw, and that one right down the middle. 1-1 to Kyle Carnahan. No outs here in the top of the 5th inning. 3-1. Xenia Scouts leading the Lima Locos, trying to end their 4-game losing streak. Kyle Carnahan at the dish. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and missed. Big hack at it by Carnahan.
Carnahan now goes down 1-2 in the count.
Carnahan from outside Des Moines, Iowa. Plays his college ball in Kansas at Washburn University. 1-2 count. That one curves in and just misses from Ruggles. Makes it 2-2 to Carnahan. Evened up for Mr. Hot Corner. Binger takes his lead at first base. Here comes the 2-2, and that was fouled backwards. I think he might have hit the kneecap of Billy Lapari behind the plate. So Binger takes his lead at first base. Kyle Carnahan back steps in the batter's box. Ruggles looks. That one's going to be fouled out of play towards the trees outside of right field. Do it again at 2-2.
2-2 here.
To the third man in the Scouts lineup, Kyle Carnahan. The second batter, Christian Binger, sitting on first base with no outs here in the top of the fifth inning. 3-1 Scouts leading this one. Here comes that 2-2. That one's hit to deep left center field. Is it gone again? It is Kyle Carnahan with his second homer of the day. This one of the two-run variety. Kyle Carnahan extends this lead to 5-1, and this is the second time we've seen an Ichabod from Washburn University of 2 home runs at Simmons Field.
Carnahan with 2 home runs today. One of them a solo shot, one of them a 2-run home run. Last time we were up here at Simmons Field, David Gahn had 2 3-run home runs. A lot of home runs for the Ichabods here at Simmons Field.
So 3 RBIs on the day for Kyle Carnahan, and the first 2 batters Ryan Ruggles faces have scores. David Gahn takes the first pitch for a strike. Christian Binger came up singled against Ruggles, and then Kyle Carnahan worked the count, got his pitch, and took it right out of here. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed from Gaunt as Ruggles tries to rebound. 5-1 lead, Xenia Scouts over the Lima Locos here in the top of the 5th inning. No outs here. And that one's a bit high to David Gaunt. The count is now going to be 1-2. Here comes that 1-2. Gaunt checks as that one curves outside of the zone for 2-2. Evened up to the second Ichabod in a row. Cale Giddings on deck warming up. Here's that 2-2. That one's way outside. No question on that one. The Gaunt works to a full count. First full count of the day for Ryan Ruggles, the Blazer from UAB. Here's the payoff. That one swung on and missed. Gaunt cannot get any of the stitchings of that one. He goes down for the first strikeout and first out of the day for Ryan Ruggles.
Got into a fielder's choice and he flew out to the catcher in foul territory.
So here comes Cale Giddings. 4th batter that Ruggles has faced. That one's up high for a ball, the 3rd righty in a row.
1-0 now. 3 Ks.
Giddings 0 for 2 in this contest after going 3 for 4 yesterday. Watches that one miss outside, so 2-0 to the big man from Lake Erie College, a member of the Storm. Originally was a Zip and then transferred.
And Cale came into yesterday hitting 188. He doesn't have that many at-bats on the season. He, of course, joined the team late. And after a big game yesterday, came in today hitting exactly 300. So even though he's got a low number of at-bats, he definitely made the most of them yesterday, going 3 for 4.
So Kyle Carnahan, who's been nicknamed Thor, uses his hammer, and Cale Giddings, nicknamed Paul Bunyan, uses his axe. We got a plethora of names for our bats on the Xenia Scouts Ball Club as we have a meeting at the mound. Ryan Ruggles just came into the game, top of the 5th inning, gave up hits in his first 2 batters, a single to Christian Binger, and then a 2-run jack from Kyle Carnahan. They'll leave him out there. Don't see any action in the Locals bullpen yet. Did just strike out David Gahn, who came in today batting .352, was 0 for 2 in this contest. 2-0 to Giddings is a bit low, so 3-0 to the big man. Cale was our player of the game yesterday, his first time winning the award. Now at 3-0, absolutely taking and absolutely walking. So 4 straight balls to Cale Giddings puts him on base for the second time today. And he has a 3-run streak where last 3 times he's been on and hasn't been substituted. He's come home to score. Let's see if he can extend that scoring streak to 4. So here comes Zach Wiley. He's 0 for 1, been on both times. Cale Giddings on first base, 1 out, 5-1 Scouts. That one for a strike.
That pitch goes in for a strike.
Wiley 0 for 1 on the day, reached on an error by Kilgore, but he threw over the head of Williams at first.
That one curves out inside for a ball. So 1-1 to Zach Wiley. One out here. 5-1 Scouts. Kale Giddings on first base. While trying to get on for the third straight time. 1-1 is going to be hit towards short. Williams picks it up, throws it to Logan and to the other Williams for the 6-4-3 double play that will end the top of the fifth inning, but not before two more go on the board for the Xenia Scouts as Kyle Carnahan continues his absolute splurge at the plate today with his second home run. This one, a two-run shot that brought home Christian Binger as well.
Cole Barlow for the Locos was walking out to the bullpen. Hasn't started throwing yet, but could be the next reliever we see for the Locos.
The Lance will look up some stats on Cole Barlow when he might come into the game for Ryan Ruggles. We'll see if he goes one inning and done. In that top of the fifth, Ruggles gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned through 1 inning of action. Coach Tyler Anderson had 4 innings pitched, had 1 strikeout, 2 hits, 3 runs, and only 1 of them earned as well. And that brings us to our 5-4 score. Excuse me, 5-1 score. Did I say 5-4? What am I talking about? This is the 4th of July.
That was a score yesterday.
That was a score yesterday. Again, thank you for listening. Lance Morris and myself, Terry Lash, who sometimes knows what he's talking about, as the Xenia Scouts.
We're going to settle with sometimes?
Sometimes.
We could go probably lower than that if we really want.
Yeah, we'll stick with sometimes. Yeah, give us something.
Let's give us a little credit, I guess.
Scouts trying to end that 4-game losing skid. Thank you for joining us on this 4th of July. A beautiful night here at Simmons Field in Lima, Ohio, northwestern part of Ohio. For those of you all around the country listening at home, Q McGrath taking the mound for the 5th inning. And we're going to see a bunt attempt, hit towards Kyle Carney at third. He comes running in, throws to first in time. And that's going to sit down.
Wyatt Hogan tries to butt his way on. No good.
The one down here. Here in the top, in the bottom of the 5th inning, Kyle London goes down.
Now Billy Lapari up to the plate. He had a double his last time up.
That one's hit to deep left field. Billy Lapari got all of that one, and that one's all the way out. McGrath gives up his first homer of the season, and the score is now 5-2.
I think he gave up another one.
You know that one?
I think he gave up one when we played Northern Ohio.
Lance will let that.
I think he did.
Against Reasoner.
Yeah.
All right, Lance will look that up to fact check me, but back here in Lima is a 5-2 score.
Yep.
Give
it up to Michael Reasoner, the shortstop on the Northern Ohio Baseball Club in the 4th inning.
Pardon me, that is the second home run of the year given up by Q McGrath. It's got still a 5-2 though, but 4th hit of the day given up by Q. That one a homer. First pitch misses outside of Trey Logan. So 1-0 with 1 out as the sun sets here at Simmons Field. And that one in the dirt. Count is now 2-0 for Q. On deck is Grant Williams. We'll head to the top of the Locos lineup for the 3rd time today. And Q delivers, and that one low as well. 3 straight balls. Trey Logan. Q looks a little shaky after giving up that solo shot to Billy Lapari, who's 2 for 2 today. Here comes that 3-0, and that one's low as well. So 4 straight balls for Q is visibly upset on the mound.
And last time he gave up the home run, he hit the next batter and then walked J.P. Sorma. So we'll see if he can bounce back in a quicker fashion than he did last time he gave up a home run.
Q with 5 hits given up on the day. 2 earned runs against him.
That's a most for a single start for Q.
And Wolpe came in today with a .60 ERA. But still, Scouts with a 5-2 lead. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Scouts trying to hold on. Here comes the 5-2. Here comes the pitch to Grant Williams. That one way low in the dirt. Good block by David Gaunt. Not a deep backstop here at Simmons Field, but definitely think they would be sending Logan on that one. So 1-0 from Q. Looks at the plate and he delivers, and that one a bit high on the curveball, so it's 2-0. Trey Logan standing at first base, 90 feet away from his teammate Grant Williams after he walked after the homer from Billy Lipari to get us our 5-2 score. That one outside corner for a strike. Q refines his rhythm.
Hopefully that'll be the pitch that gets Q back in his rhythm.
5-2 score here, 1 out, bottom of the 5th inning. Grant Williams trying to get his first hit of the day. A pickoff attempt to Trey Logan, not nearly in time, and Q will get the ball back from Cale Giddings and re-step on the rubber. Now pitching from the stretch is the lefty from East Central University in Ada, Oklahoma. Here comes the 2-1 pitch, and that one's high and inside. And the count will now rise to 3-1. Q going for his 6th win of the season, already leads the Great Lakes League with 5. No one else with that total. And here comes the 3-1. That one low, and he's walked his 2nd consecutive batter. So after giving up the solo home run to Billy Lipari, he walks Trey Logan and Grant Williams in succession. And that's going to bring up Mitch Carragher, who's 1 for 2 in this contest, singled back in the bottom of the 1st inning. And that's going to bring up head coach Bubba Cates for a meeting at the mound. David Gahn going to join him. That'll be it. The rest of the infield going to stay intact. Now let's think she's a little bit rattled, Lance.
Yeah, he's definitely looking shaky after giving up that home run to Lipari. Walks Trey Logan and then Grant Williams. Still don't think there's any action quite yet in the Scouts dugout bullpen as someone's walking out there as say that. So don't know how long the leash is going to be for Q, but it's only the 5th inning. So as long as he can bounce back and get the last couple outs in this inning, Coach Cates will definitely stick with Q because we've seen it time and time again that he can work his way out of things, even if he hasn't given up this amount of runs, but he's dealt with guys on base before.
That's Joey Levitt that just went out to the pen for the Scouts. So, like Lance said, we'll see how long the leash is for Quentin McGrath of 2 on here of 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. 5-2, the Scouts do lead, trying to avoid another come-from-behind loss after yesterday up big on the Lake Erie Monarchs and fell in that one as well. So now at the plate, Mitch Carragher. First pitch to him, misses outside and low for a ball. So 1-0 now to Mitch Carragher, the right fielder from Maryville. Coming in games, hitting .388 on the season.
Runners on 1st and 2nd now for the Locos. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Q gets his pitch, throws home, and he gets the strike. Count is now 1-1 to Carragher.
There really is no break. Yeah.
The game is 20.
Yeah.
The game is 21st. It's on Tuesday.
1-1 here on Mitch Carragher.
So still runners on 1st and 2nd, 1 out, 5-2 Scouts in the bottom of the 5th, 1-1 to Carragher. That one low in the dirt. Good block by David Gaunt. So it'll be 2-1 now.
Well, the count goes 2-1 now. And now you start to wonder how much longer Q may be in this game.
Carragher came into this contest 6th in the entire league in batting average with that .388.
Oh, boy.
Scouts still lead 5-2. And here comes the pitcher to Q. And Gaunt's throwing to 3rd. And safe. A steal from 2nd to 3rd for Trey Logan.
I think he missed
And
that.
Coach Cates is on the jog to the pitcher's mound to
That
complain
looked to
about
be
that
pretty
one.
clear, unless Carnahan didn't have control, which I think he did.
Did I go down to the double steal?
The double steal for the Locos and put runners on 2nd and 3rd. I don't know either. It looks like the throw is in plenty of time unless his toe just extended and hit the edge of that bag. The runners on 2nd and 3rd now. The double play ball is dead.
For the 3rd, excuse me.
But Trey Logan standing on third base, Grant Williams on second, Mitch Carragher at the dish with a 3-1 count against Q McGrath. Scouts reeling a little bit here in the bottom of the fifth inning. I'll have to ask about that one after the game. 3-run from Q, and that one is low, and that's going to walk the third straight batter. With Joey Levitt warming up in the pen right now, we have to wonder how long Q is going to stay in the game.
Q came into this game with 7 walks. He's got 4 right now, so not quite the outing we're used to from Q.
And 3 in a row. Q started off this game with a walk, but it's like solid up into that solo shot, and it seems like it's rattled him a little bit. That's going to bring up Will Kilgore, who's 0 for 2 today, but does have 5 home runs on the season. Bases chalked. Here's the throw. That one's hit to center field. Levi Gilcrease on his horseback makes the catch, and that's going to tag up a runner. And so the Locals will hit a sac fly to deep center on the amazing catch by Levi Gilcrease, is having a day in center field. Trey Logan does tag up to score, cuts the lead to 5-3. That does avenge Grant Williams back to third base as well, as Carragher has to go back to first, but Gilcrease tried to double up. Carragher, who thought there's no way that one was going to be caught before the leaping grab by Gilcrease, and he just got back to first base in time. So runners on the corners now, 5-3 game as Hunter Williams comes up to the plate.
Can't say enough about the performance Levi's having out there in center field. He's doing it all, and with his cannon, if you don't tag up back in time, he can make sure you get back in time.
And that one well inside. Another good block at the plate by David Gaunt, as Hunter Williams is now at the dish. Williams today 1 for 2. He was robbed by Gilcrease back in the second inning. In the bottom of the second, Gilcrease took that one from over the wall and brought it back in. Gilcrease 2 Gold Glove type plays in center so far today. 1-0, and that one's going to be hit to left field. And Wyatt Hogan's going to try to get under that one and puts it away. So the Locals will leave 2 on the corners, but they do fight their way back. But a couple runs on the board to match the Scouts in the fifth inning, and the score is back to a 2-run game at 5-3.
And I still don't know about that call down in third off of what became a double steal. Looked like got that one to Carnahan in plenty of time, applied the tag, and it looked like the umpire made the signal like he didn't have control, although Carnahan showed him his glove, and it showed that he had the ball in the glove. I don't know what more you can ask for, but nonetheless, it happened.
So that's definitely a question we're going to have to ask after the game. Looks like we're going to have a new pitcher as Cole Barlow steps to the rubber. The third Bulldog from Mississippi State we've seen today. And Lance, what can you tell me about Cole Barlow?
Cole Barlow, like you mentioned, from Mississippi State. He originally comes from Madison, Mississippi. He's 6'2", 205, is going into his senior season at Mississippi State. He is 0 for 1 on the season, has came into 5 ball games, has not made a single start. Does have 1 save, has an ERA of 8.43, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks, 4 hits. And if you look at his last outing, that was against the Ironmen on June 26th. He had 1 hit, gave up one run, and 1 walk, so has been better recently, although his ERA is up there.
So we're going to the top of the 6th inning. The Xenia Scouts up by a 5-3 score, and Lance, what's the side coming up for the Scouts?
For the Scouts, it'll be 7-8-9. It'll be led off by Levi Gilcrease, who has had a fantastic day in the field. We'll see if that can translate to the plate. Then it'll be Wyatt Hogan. He's 0 for 1 thus far, but has an RBI. That was back in the second. And then it'll be Jordan Schaefer, who is 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI single. That was a very strange play as it went foul down that third base line and somehow came back in fair.
It's been a home run derby here at Simmons Field. Scouts have hit 2, and the Locos have had 1, similar to the last game we saw here. Home runs aplenty. And here comes Gilcrease, who's 0 for 2 today. First pitch he sees goes past him for a strike. The 0-1 now to the center fielder from Baylor. Here comes the pitch way outside. Levi not doing much at the plate today, but in the field has been absolutely phenomenal. Single-handedly stopped a run. Back in the second inning, he's handcuffed to that one, and it is going to be put away in foul territory. And third base by Kilgore, and that one was dangerous as it drifted high in the sky. That's going to be out regardless, as Gilcrease is now 0 for 3.
Wyatt Hogan here. He's got RBI.
And brings up Wyatt Hogan, left fielder from Hendricks College, the Warrior. Scouts up 5-3 here in the top of the sixth inning at Simmons Field. Here's the first pitch to Wyatt, up high for a ball. Last time Wyatt was up, he did walk in 4 straight pitches. That was back against Tyler Anderson. Ryan Ruggles only got 1 inning of action. Here comes the 1-0, and that one also high to Hogan, so he's seen 6 straight balls.
Hogan's done a good job up there being patient. He hasn't been hitting the ball as well as he would like to, so he's started to take more pitches, be more patient at the plate, and it's paid off today.
Scouts on a 4-game losing skid, trying to end that today, and that one's high too, and that one inside as well. So 3-0 from Barlow, who singles to Lapari at home. That one's on me. I'm missing your target. So 3-0. Wyatt Hogan definitely going to be taken. Here comes the pitch, and there for a strike. No surprise there. Right down the middle. Hogan takes off his helmet, brushes the flow, and steps back to the dish.
Brushes the flow.
So 3-1. Here comes the pitch, and that one a bit low. So the second straight time, Wyatt Hogan has taken 4 balls and a 90-foot free pass to first base. Another walk for the Scouts. That will be their 3rd of the day, or 4th of the day.
You guys got 3 Ks, though.
So here comes Barlow back again, this time against Jordan Schaefer at the dish. That one's way up top. Good catch from Lapari. Now fastball went and broke through the chain link fence and hit the second row. So 1-0. Now to Jordan Schaefer with Wyatt Hogan on first base. 1-0, and that one's low. So 2-0 now.
Looks like Barlow's definitely missing his spots after walking Hogan, struggling with Schaefer.
Hogan on first base. Schaefer at the plate. Here comes the 2-0, and that one hits the outside corner for a strike. No problems on that pitch. Miles right on deck as the Scouts are about to go to the top of the lineup for the 4th time in this game, unless we see an inning-ending double play here off the bat of Schaefer. Pick up a 10. Wyatt Hogan back in time to first base. Not much separating these two teams. 5-3 score. Locos 5 hits to the Scouts 4, but 2 big errors on the Locos that have been hurting them. Here comes the pitch to Schaefer. That one's tipped backwards into the fence, and it's going to be evened up at 2-2 to the shortstop from originally Northwestern State University, northern part of Louisiana, transferred to Hines Community College. Wyatt Hogan still standing on first as Schaefer will call time. Schaefer 1 for 2 today, and that RBI single back in the second inning. And has a 2-2 count now. Wyatt Hogan on first. Barlow gets his pitch from Lapari at the plate. Here it comes, and that one's up top. 3-2. So the first full count of the day for Cole Barlow in his 3rd batter face. Wyatt Hogan takes his lead. Here's the 3-2, and that one swung and tipped backwards. Might have hit the foot of Jordan Schaefer after that one.
And I'm fairly certain that this is the first time Schaefer has worked it to a full count.
Schaefer usually sees swinging away. So our first full count of the year for Schaefer, the latest addition to the Xenia Scouts team, and he's going to get a second 3-2 pitch, and that one's going to be fouled out of play to the right. Lights coming on here at Simmons Field. Sun is in left center field right now. Being set right under the left field lights. Glad I brought my sunglasses or I would be in some trouble. Wyatt Hogan on first. One out, 5-3 Scouts. Here it comes again, and it's going to be a second consecutive walk. 180 feet of free passes given up by Cole Barland, just kind of like we saw in the bottom of the 5th inning. Walks from the pitcher on the mound, hurting their team.
And there's some action going on in the Locos bullpen, but it's Ryan Ruggles out there throwing some more, so he's already, of course, came out of the game, so he cannot go back into the game, so no one out there that can potentially come into the game as another reliever.
The only thing I can possibly imagine would be that Ruggles gets someone else's jersey, which I don't know if that would be allowed as well, since he already came into the game. So I'm not sure what's going on out there, so we'll figure it out later. So after a meeting at the mound, Miles Wright will be at the dish. Jordan Shaver on first for the second time today, and Wyatt Hogan on second for the third time today.
Only had 1 home run so far. Now he's got 3.
So runners on first and second. 1 out for Miles Wright. Here comes the first person. He lays down the bunt, but pulls it back. 0-1. Scouts with a 5-3 lead here in the top of the 6th inning against the Lima Locos. Locos came into the game second in the league. Scouts the 5th. Here comes the 0-1 to Miles. That one's going to be hit over to Kilgore on third. Now he's going to throw to first in time. So a 5-3 double play. Retires Wright. And 2 left on for the Xenia Scouts. And that'll do it for the top of the 6th. So the Scouts threaten with a couple of walks. But a 5-3 double play. Will Kilgore scoops up, steps on the bag, and throws Hunter Williams out first to end the top of the 6th inning.
And Q's back out.
And we'll
I'm
see.
a little surprised.
We'll see Q McGrath for his 6th inning of action. He did pitch 5, so he would be awarded a victory if the Scouts were able to come out of this one. That's probably a factor, but he did pass that threshold. And Coach Case just must have faith in his lefty, and for good reason. Came in the game as the best pitcher in the league. Just shaking up a little bit today with 3 runs given up. Not terrible by most standards, but Q with that .60 ERA and 5 wins on the year. Uncharacteristic for him, but again, facing probably the second best hitting team in the league in the Lima Locos.
Yeah, Q struggled a little bit today, but he still worked through those first 3 innings rather seamlessly outside of the double from the party back in the 3rd. Then he struggled in the 5th, gave up that solo home run again. The party doing the damage, and then walked. The bases loaded, and finally found a way to get out of it with some minimal damage done. Did allow a run to score off a sac fly from Kilgore, but otherwise did a good job controlling the damage.
So, Lance, what's the side coming up for the Lima Locos?
Coming up for the Lima Locos, it'll be the Bulldog duo of Luke Reynolds and Cole Gordon, and then it'll be center fielder Kyle London.
Here's the first pitch, and as the bunt is squared down, Q reverses his movement, and no one's there on first base. Q throws it anyway. Christian Binger gets it from second. Will throw to shortstop, and it's going to be error on Q as Cale Giddings came in to field it. Seems like a misplay from Cale, in my opinion. He probably should have stayed on the bag, but Q should have realized that he wasn't there before he threw it. Q threw to no one, and it's going to be the error recorded against him.
And you got to think that there was a little bit of miscommunication there between him and Q, of course, because Cale, of course, thinks he's supposed to charge in at that one, so he does, but Q was able to get to him before he did, and Christian didn't know if he was going to be covering first, so he just had to kind of run over and save it after Cale charged that one.
So it should be ruled a bunt single, and then an error on Q McGrath that has Reynolds on second right now. 5-3 score, no outs. First pitch in there for a strike to Cole Gordon.
You know, he's got 3 bunt hits this year. That's enough. That's ridiculous. With his speed, there's no excuse. It really isn't.
Cole Gordon came up here.
And here comes the 0-1, and that one's a bit high. Hard to accomplish that task as Cole Gordon stands at 6'6", has a huge strike zone, but 1-1 now. Luke Reynolds sits on second base gets his lead of no outs here in the bottom of the 5th, and that hit Gordon. And Lance, you were a little bit surprised when they saw Q come out to start the bottom of the 6th inning here and put the first 2 batters on.
Yeah, he's struggling. Of course, he allows Luke Rounds to get off the bunt hit and then throws it away, not knowing that there wasn't somebody at first. And then he hits Gordon. So struggling to start the 6th inning, to say the least, from Q.
So runners on first and second, no outs here. As he steps off the rubber, Kyle London at the plate now. He's 0 for 2 today. Struck out in the 3rd. Grounded to Kyle Carnahan at 3rd in the 5th. And the bunt, and that one's going to get past Gunt. So a wild pitch on Q McGrath's going to put those runners on 2nd and 3rd.
Now you're just making it easy for this Locos offense.
So it's been one thing after another here
6 hits so far recorded to this game.
in the bottom 6th inning for Q McGrath and the Scouts.
They were at 1.8, 310.
Yeah.
So here's Q McGrath. He throws inside, and that's going to hit the next batter. And Kyle London is going to stroll to first now, so back-to-back hit batters, loads the bases. And instead of going to the mound, Coach Case has the words from the home plate umpire.
I think he's going to question if that one actually hit him. Also still might have a meeting, but he's going to question that call first.
What are they discussing here?
Scouts with a 5-3 lead here, holding on against the Lima Locos in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bases loaded, no outs. Joey Levitt's been warming up in the bullpen for quite some time now. You think he's got to be warmed up and ready to go, and looks like Cates is going to make the move towards Q McGrath.
He's getting his money's worth before he gets the kid.
And that's going to bring in Joey Levitt.
5 innings, 6 hits.
And that does it for Q McGrath.
3 runs. 3 runs so far.
So that's unofficial.
Pitches 5 innings, has a couple of strikeouts, 4 walks. Came in the game with 7 on the year.
2 Ks.
6 hits,
2 late batters.
3 earned runs, and any of these batters on the bases right now will be earned to Q McGrath.
And that'll be all 0 for Q. And we'll have the official stats once the runner's ready.
Looks like Joey Levitt's going to come in and replace Q.
So Joey Levitt, one of the most consistent relievers for the Scouts team, being put on a tough spot here with bases loaded here in the bottom of the 6th inning in a close 5-3 lead. As the news doesn't get any better for the Scouts as Billy Lipari comes to the dish, and he's 2 for 2 today, a double and a home run.
Levitt on the season, 1-0, 2.77 ERA. He has 1 start under his belt. That was earlier this week against the Joes. This will be his 10th time coming in relief. And I'm fairly certain that'll lead the team. He's also been used as a pinch runner, because if you go to Point Street, you can see the batting log. Doesn't have a single at-bat, but has came in as a pinch runner and scored 2 runs on this season.
So, unfortunately, probably the worst day we've seen of the year for Q McGrath. Still not a bad performance in those 5 innings for Q. As we go from a lefty to a righty in Joey Levitt. And Scouts in some serious danger right now.
You have Billy Lipari coming up to the plate. He was 0 for 4 coming into the game against the Scouts. Has a double and a solo home run so far today.
No, well, he was out.
So bases loaded. 5-3 lead for the Scouts. No outs, bottom of the 6th. Joey Levitt on the rubber. First pitch is out. It's going to be fouled away towards the Scouts' dugout against Lipari. And if I have this correct, Lipari swung at the first pitch in his first 2 at-bats.
I think you're correct.
It's the first time he didn't get on or a homer on it.
0-1 here.
That's why this game
So Billy Lepar.
It's an 0-1 now to Lipari from Levitt. That one's going to curve back, and now it's fouled back towards us. David Gaunt. Watch that one get away as it bounces right in front of a couple of Locos fans in attendance. Bounces off the bleachers here at Simmons Field behind home plate, a shade to the left of home plate. Again, a short backstop here. So what do you say, about 15 feet, 20 feet?
0-2 now here to Billy.
Not a very deep backstop here.
0-2 now to Billy Lipari. Joey Levitt would love to get a strikeout and set up a double play ball to end the inning. Here comes the 0-2. Now wants to line head to deep left center field. And it's going to get past both of them as miscommunication between Gilcrease and Wyatt Hogan puts this lead to 5-4. And that out's going to go, our error is going to go against Gilcrease. Second error of this inning, and that's really unfortunate for Joey Levitt.
Reynolds comes in on the air, so that'll be an RBI for Billy Lepar.
An error on Gilcrease is great in the field today. I have to wonder if Wyatt Hogan should have just put that one away, because that was definitely shaded more towards left field.
Yeah, definitely a miscommunication there, and Levi loves to show off his range, but should have just let Wyatt get under that one for the out.
And that one fouled away to Trey Logan, who walked last time. 5-4 is your score, no outs, bases loaded still. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Baby Blues in a bit of danger. More than a bit, a lot of danger. As Luke Reynolds, who was single to start this bottom of the 6th, came home to score to cut the lead to 1. Still no outs.
Trey Logan looking to break this game.
And here comes the throw, and that one's wide and outside. So 1-1 from Levitt. Scouts desperately need their first out of this inning. They had it there, would have still brought home a run, but we're talking a 1-out game here in the bottom of the 6th. And here comes the pitch, and that one is outside corner, but missing for a ball. 2-1.
Which it wasn't even his ball. I can't believe he even got over there.
He cut right in front of him. And then all of a sudden it hit.
2-1. The Trey Logan looking for his first hit of the ball game. Here comes the 2-1, and that one is low. Good block by Gaunt. Because you have to think that would have scored Cole Gordon. I don't know, at 6'6", that has some big strides. I don't know if he could have got to home with a short backstop, but definitely probably would have saw it. 3-1 now to Joey Levitt, who is trying to avoid walking home a run.
Last time he got 6-3 his first time. Looking to break this game wide open here with a base hit.
Here comes the 3-1 pitch, and that one's going to be popped high into the infield fly roll. And that will be put away, and Trey Logan goes down. That's going to bring out Grant Williams, who's 0 for 1 today, but with a couple of walks. So 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning, 5-4. Scouts holding on to this thin lead. Joey Levitt will love an inning double play like how the first inning ended. Here comes the first pitch to Williams. Outside corner for a strike from the righty from Cypress College.
You gotta love the composure of Joey Levitt going right at these batters, even though the bases are jacked.
Should be 2 outs. We saw an error on Levi Gilcrease earlier in this inning that brought home Luke Reynolds, and that pitch curves now as we hit the right field. Miles Wright makes the play, throws home. Here comes the play. Keo Giddings cuts it off. And he's safe. Cole Gordon is safe. You have to wonder why Keo Giddings cut that one off. Because if Tailgates doesn't cut it off. You got to think it's a closer play at the plate. So a sack fly from Grant Williams ties up this ball game.
Gordon tags, slides in to tie this game up.
So the big man, the first baseman for Mississippi State, Cole Gordon, playing DH tonight, comes home on the sack fly. So it's a 5-5 ball game now, folks. The Scouts have squandered their lead here on the 4th of July, trying to avoid losing their 5th straight 5-5 ball game. 2 on, first and second, 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Carragher. That's going to be lined to Jordan Schaefer on the first pitch. So it's a 5-5 score after 2 more runs crossed, 2 runs in the last 2 innings each for the Lima Locos, and they do leave 2 on now.
Just an unfortunate inning there for the Scouts. No other way to put it. Cole Barlow's going to be back out there for another inning of work for the Locos, and a different story than last night. Last night, Scouts lead almost the whole way before, in the 7th inning, they allowed the Monarchs to get on the board, and just constant picking away from the Locos. They get 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and 2 in the 6th, and it's a tie ball game up at 5 apiece.
So unbelievably, only 1 hit in that inning, but they do put a couple of runs across the plate, as we saw an error and a couple of hit batters and a sacrifice fly. And now we're knotted up, folks. It's a brand new ball game. Same story as yesterday. Scouts get the lead early but struggle late. See how they respond today here at Simmons Field compared to Flat Rock Park as we go to the top of the 7th.
So it'll be the same starting lineup as we had in both the 3rd and the 5th innings. It will be led off by Christian Binger. He had a hit in his last at-bat. And with Kyle Carnahan, he's had home runs in each of his last 2 at-bats. It'll be David Gaunt, who is struggling today. 0 for 2 was hit by a pitch back in the 2nd inning.
And Kyle Carnahan has hit home 3 of the Scouts' 5 runs in this one on 2 homers. We do have some scores from earlier today. The Joes have now dropped 2 straight as they lost to the Lorain County Ironman 7-5 earlier today. Licking County Settlers won a 30-run game. As we see the first pitch to Binger in there for a strike. As the Settlers beat the Lake Erie Monarchs 16-14. And the Galleon Graves beat the Southern Ohio Copperheads 4-3. This is the last game in action for the day. 0-1 pitch swung and fouled out of play. 0-2 now to Binger.
Oh, come on!
Barlow in the 2nd inning of action. Here comes the 0-2, the second baseman, outside for a ball.
Make sure she gets the money.
And the 1-2 from Barlow here to Baker.
And Barlow looks home, throws the 1-2. And that one's going to be hit towards first base. Williams picks it up, throws it back to Barlow in time for the out. So Christian, and all 4 of his at-bats, has hit to the right side of the infield and will now be 1 for 4 on the day.
Kyle Carnahan here.
That brings up Kyle Carnahan, has hit 2 home runs to left field in his last 2 at-bats.
And Drew Faintich warming up in the Loco bullpen.
Swing and a miss there. He wanted to hit that to the river.
Carnahan takes the first one for a strike and is 2 for 3 on the day.
Yeah. I think both those will go down. Oh, yeah.
Here's the 0-1. That one's well outside. So we see a sidearm pitch that time from Barlow. Haven't seen that yet this game.
Kyle Carnahan comes to the game with 1 home run and hits 2 home runs that were just absolute bombs.
And that one's
up
lined towards center field, put away easily by Kyle London. So that time Carnahan get too far underneath it. And it'll be 2 down here in the top of the 7th for the Scouts.
And those are the kind of swings we've seen a lot of from Carnahan. He gets it very deep, but just not quite deep enough, getting a little too far underneath the ball. Had he been able to do things like that he did in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning, then we would see a lot more dingers next to Kyle Carnahan's name.
Now David Gaunt at the plate takes the first pitch for a ball too far inside.
Somebody's got 6.
1-0 now to the catcher, David Gaunt. That one's going to be grounded foul to the right side of the third base bag. Again, thank you for listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball. Lance Morris and myself, Terry Lash, on the 4th of July. Maybe enjoy some fireworks later with the family. I know some of you listening on the West Coast, it'll be only 5:47 there, a little early for fireworks, but here's on Eastern Standard Time. About ready to light them off. 1-1 count to David Gaunt. Here's the pitch. That one swung on and missed. We've seen a lot of big hats today from David Gaunt, but hasn't been able to put his wood on the ball. 5-5 game.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch to David.
And here comes that pitch. It's a bit high. 2-2 now evened up for David Gaunt. Still trying to get his first hit of the contest.
Barlow trying to make quick work here.
Let the Locos come back in this one. They're up 5-1. And now now tie 5-5. Similar contest than what we saw yesterday up in Flat Rock. Here's the 2-2, and that one's low. Evened up, now fooled up at 3-2. And we're going to see the payoff pitch coming from Barlow.
And Gaunt has worked full counts in each of his last 3 at-bats.
And now this time he draws the walk. His first walk of the day, the 3rd walk we've seen from Cole Barlow. So a great at-bat from David Gaunt. And the first base runner here in the top of the 7th inning for the Scouts is Cale Giddings, who also walked his last appearance back in the top of the 5th inning, comes to the dish. First pitch to Cale. That one's inside for a ball.
Cale is 0 for 2 today after going 3 for 4 last night. Walked in his last plate appearance.
And here's the next throw to Cale, and that one also low, 2-0. So we've seen a plethora of balls. And the last 2 batters. See if we have another meeting at the mound. We'll just have Kilgore and Lapari step out there talking. We don't see Coach Ernsberger walking out there yet. Just some words of encouragement as Drew Faintich still warming up for the Lima Locos. Hat tip to Lance Morris on that call. Two outs here. And that pitch high and outside of Giddings. Now 3-0 as he's seen 3 straight balls. You have to imagine the first baseman is going to be taking on this 3-0 count. Okay, here comes a pitch from Barlow, and that one is low, and Cale Giddings is going to be walked for the 2nd straight time.
And I think Cale has learned the lesson that a lot of the Scouts players have made of throwing the bat too soon when you don't know if it's ball 4 or strike 1 or what have you. Stays in there, makes sure it's ball 4, and then flips his bat over. Smart move by Cale.
Levi Gilcrease at the plate now as Barlow steps off the rubber. Checks over at David Gaunt. First time David has gotten a scoring position in this game. Still 2 outs. Swung on and missed from Zach Wiley. Wiley hit it into the 6-4-3 double play that ended the top of the 5th inning. Only 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. One more of the Scouts will go away. Swung on and missed at that high heat. So 0-2 now to Zach Wiley. Has been walked once in this contest back in the 2nd inning. 0 for 2 today. Also got on with an error in the 4th. 0-2 pitch. And that one outside corner for a strike. Zach Wiley did not like that call. And now he's going back to the dugout.
That was a make-up call for the ball 4 he gave King. I'm going to tell you that right now.
So that will end the top of the 7th inning for the Scouts. And Joey Level will come out for us. 2nd inning of work after coming in for Q McGrath. See if we see any bullpen action. Scouts, remember, had a 5-1 lead after the top of the 5th inning. allowed 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th and 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th, and that's tied this game up now. Lima in position here in the bottom of the 7th inning to get their first lead of the contest. Lance, what is the side coming up for the Lima Locos?
Coming up for the Lima Locos, it'll go 3-4-5. Will Kilgore will lead it off. He had a sac fly that scored a run back in the 5th inning. It'll be Hunter Williams, who was robbed of a home run back in the 2nd inning. And it'll be Luke Reynolds, who had a drag bunt last time up that eventually came around to score a run on. And before that, had an RBI triple. So it was a double and a home run away from hitting the cycle.
Seen a whole lot of action here in this 5-5 ball game. 6 hits for the Locos, 4 for the Scouts. Both teams with a couple of costly errors. Hugh McGrath trying to get his 5th win on the year. Pitched 5 innings, less than we're used to seeing out of Q. And here comes the first pitch from Levitt here in the bottom of the 7th. Another drag bunt. Carnahan bare hands the throws at the first. Scooped up by Kale in time. Nice play by Mr. Hot Corner Kyle Carnahan. Does it at the plate. Now doing it in the field. Bare hands the bunt. Throws to the first to put down Kilgore.
And as good as a play as that was from Carnahan to barehand, it wasn't a perfect throw to Cale Giddings, so he had a nice little scoop over there to make sure they got the out on Kilgore.
We've seen a few of those on the season for Cale Giddings. Doesn't have a plethora of starts. I think believes this is 5th start of the season, 5th or 6th, and has made a number of nice plays at first base. The first pitch is low to Hunter Williams. So 1-0 now to Hunter Williams. That one curves into the zone for a strike. 1-1, evened up from Joey Levitt.
1-1 here on Hunter Williams here.
Williams flew out to Wyatt Hogan in left field last time. Here comes the 1-1. That one's going to be chopped over to Jordan Schaefer. Picked up, thrown to first. In time, Jordan Schaefer just getting out Hunter Williams. So back-to-back close plays at the first base bag, both going in the favor of the Scouts. So 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th. And Joey Levitt has responded here in this bottom of the 7th inning. And that brings up Luke Reynolds, who is 2 for 3 today. Came around to score last time up. That one outside corner for a strike from Levitt. 0-1 now to the left fielder for Mississippi State. Here comes the 0-1. That one's low and in the dirt as the dust flies to make it 1-1. And here goes the 1-1. That one misses outside as well. 2-1 now to Luke Reynolds.
2-1 here to
Trey Levitt gets his call at the plate from David Gahn. Here comes that 2-1 pitch. Inside for a ball. So now 3-1 from Levitt.
And you got to think he's well aware of the day Reynolds has had so far at the plate.
Joey has not walked a batter yet. Here comes that 3-1 pitch, and that one's going to be just foul. They're going to rule it fair. They're going to say fair. And that's going to be a double. Luke Reynolds. Everyone here in the press box thought that was foul.
It wasn't signaled either way by the home plate umpire, so somebody has to make a call. You can't just let that go.
Now, Reynolds is a home run away from the cycle as he has a single, double, and a triple. And Coach Case, for the second time today, usually reserve Coach Case. Coach Case not happy about that, but regardless, 2 outs and a runner scoring position now with a double from Luke Reynolds. As I just mentioned, it's a homer away from the cycle.
1 hit away here from the cycle.
And now brings up his Bulldog team at Cole Gordon, who's 0 for 2 today. Was hit by a pitch last time, was sacrificed home from Billy Lapari. Here comes the first pitch from Levitt, low in the dirt. Good catch by Gaunt behind the plate. 1-0 now to the 6'6" designated hitter. 5-5 ball game. Here in the bottom of the 7th, 2 outs. Runner on second base is Luke Reynolds. 1-0 count from Joey Levitt. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, and that was a bit high. Gordon count is now 2-0.
That was my joke when I was, especially when I was like in middle school. The only home run I ever hit was at 2 feet in front of me. Oh yeah, that's because there were about 3 errors on the play.
Oh, here comes the 2-0 pitch. That one chopped over to Kilkenny
Oh, that's another
at first, and it's a real foul. Now, the last one looked foul and was real fair. This one looked fair and was real foul.
That's because these umpires aren't very good. That's like the 5th close call.
And
When you have that many close calls, it's not a coincidence.
you have to wonder if that's a makeup call, because that one definitely looked like a fair ball for Cole Gordon.
2-1 now to Cole Gordon.
So they'll do it again at 2-1.
If that is called fair, that is a Locos take the lead. But
So Joey Levitt catches a break. Scouts still tied up 5-5.
here comes the 2-1 pitch.
Levitt checks second base, goes home, fires the 2-1, and that one's going to be chopped foul again.
Outside, maybe.
So 2-2 evened up to the big man, Cole Gordon.
We'll put again in quotations.
That was definitely a fair ball that was ruled foul.
Now goes 2-2.
Gave the Scouts a little bit more life, but in fairness, Luke Reynolds sitting on second base right now, and while that should have been ruled foul, that was ruled fair. So 2-2 with 2 outs for Joey Levitt. And here comes the 2-2 pitch, and that was swung on and tipped away, and David Gaunt could not catch it. Thought he was going to catch it for a strikeout, but it bounces off the mid of Gaunt.
Needs to stay back and hit the other way a little bit, damn it.
So we'll do it again at 2-2, evened up here for Cole Gordon in this lefty versus righty battle. The righty Joey Levitt on the rubber from the stretch. Here it comes, swung on and missed. Gaunt make sure he got that one, so Gordon goes down swinging for the first strikeout of the day for Joey Levitt. That ends the 7th inning, but not before we saw a bit of controversy for both these teams. I think a couple of poor calls. One first benefited the Locos, the second one benefited the Scouts.
So that was just a weird sequence of events, like you mentioned earlier. One called foul should have been called fair. One called fair should have been called foul. We've seen it all here today.
Now is that?
Really?
I think we have a new pitcher on the mound.
Gotta think that's Drew Faintich, who we
I
saw
believe that
warming up
will be
earlier.
Drew Faintich. So we're going to the top of the 8th inning with a tie ball game at 5 apiece. And we're going to see the 4th Locos pitcher, Drew Faintich, another lefty, comes into the game.
Drew Faintich comes to us from Central Florida. He originally from Tallahassee, Florida.
Here, 6 games, 6.1 innings pitched, 1 run, 1 earned run. He's coming in pitching very well here for the Locos. So
Pulling up some more stats on Faintich. This will be his 7th appearance.
Tallahassee, Florida, and goes to Central
Has a
Florida
1.42 ERA, 6.1 innings, so don't expect him to go longer than an inning. Has 9 strikeouts, 3 walks, and just 4 hits on the season.
It's an impressive year for Drew Faintich with a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
And he also pitched against the Scouts back on June 6th in that route, the 15-7 route. Had walked 2 batters, but did get 3 strikeouts to somehow strike out the side.
So we'll do it up at 5 apiece here in the top of the 8th inning. A great game between the Xenia Scouts and Lima Locos. And I don't know if the Scouts can suffer another heartbreaker. Team needs to rally together. They've lost 4 straight. 2 of the last 4 of the walk-off right, including a walk-off homer last night in Flat Rock. Levi Gilcrease at the plate takes Faintich's first pitch for a strike. All right, the 7, 8, 9 batters of the lineup. the bottom of the order, and that 0-1 becomes 0-2 as Gil Crease looks at the next strike. Now he's got the fight from behind at 0-2, the center fielder from Baylor, who's 0 for 3 today. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Or tipped. He already got a piece of it. Just got a piece of that one.
Just barely got a piece of that one. Stay alive at 0-2.
Oh, come on. This is pretty good.
Strikeouts have been a problem for Levi this season. Leads the league in them.
No.
Okay, now it's 2,100.
Here comes the 0-2. Swung on again. They're saying he didn't get any piece of that one, so I just hit the glove of the poly, so that will be a strikeout. Bounced out so fast out of the glove, I thought it was hit, but I guess Levi missed all of that one.
And Levi made it look like he got a piece of that one, and then after he realized that it was ruled strike 3, started to get on his horse, but wasn't able to get to first base in time to beat out the drop third strike.
So first batter and a strikeout for Drew Faintich, and the last two scouts have gone down swinging. Wyatt Hogan swings and misses at the first one, counts now 0-1 to the left fielder.
Wyatt 0 for 1 today with an RBI and a pair of walks.
0-1 pitch, and that one's fouled away off of Hogan, so 0-2 now to him.
Colin Stoley, looks like, was walking out to the bullpen, and he's listed as an infielder.
So we'll see if Stolly will cover to the game later. Wyatt Hogan at the dish now. Here comes the 0-2, and that one does not break in. 1-2 now to Wyatt Hogan, who is 0 for 1 today. He's been on all 3 times. Got on with a fielder's choice RBI, then walked the last 2 times at the plate. 1-2 now to Hogan. That one in there for a strike. So back-to-back strikeouts for Drew Faintich.
He also dropped it, but that was already after he ruled it a strikeout.
So 2 Ks on the day for Drew Faintich in his first 2 batters. And before that, each pitcher, this is number 4 on the day for the Locos, had 1 strikeout apiece. Now 2 for Faintich. That brings up Jordan Shavers having a nice day, 1 for 2 with an RBI and a walk. First pitch to him, high and away for a ball.
That goes in for a ball.
Golden Knight from Central Florida University in Orlando. That one low and away inside for another ball. So 2-0 to Schaefer, who walked on that full count last time he was up back in the top of the 6th inning. Now here in the top of the 8th inning with 2 down against him. 2-0 pitch, and that one swung and foul backwards. So we'll do it again at 2-1. 5-5 score here. Scouts were up by 5-1 score in the 5th inning and have allowed the Locos to come back and tie this one up in the 7th. That one's high for a ball. Schaefer check swings, and that was 3-1. 1 pitch away from the first base runner of the inning for the Scouts. 3-1. Outside and away. So another walk. Jordan Schaefer gets on for his 3rd time today.
We go to Miles right now, top of the order for the...
And now the Scouts are up to the top of the order for the 5th time today. Miles Wright, who's 0 for 4 in this contest, has really been struggling after a nice day yesterday.
The Scouts have drawn 8 walks total against these Locos pitchers.
There were a couple days that we were watching the news the next day, and they were talking about the record team of 89 degrees.
And here comes the pitch to right in there for a strike, right at the belt for an 0-1 count. So 0-1 now to Miles Wright. Jordan Schaefer on first base. Here comes the pitch. Swing and dribble towards the dugout of the Locos. Foul. 0-2 now to Miles. Drew Faintich on the rubber now, pitching from the stretch. As the Scouts have Jordan Schaefer on base. Here comes that 0-2, and that was swung on and missed. So Miles Wright's struggles continues today. He's now 0 for 5 after 3 strikeouts for Drew Faintich, just like the last time we were here at Simmons Field.
Not much you can do on that one if you're Miles. Just couldn't find a way to get a piece of that one, and he'll go down again today.
So Joey Levitt about to see his third inning of action. We do see some action in the Scouts bullpen. I think we might see Tony Campbell out there and Thomas Wanning for sure.
That'd be my guess. We have a little bit of an obstructed view, but that's who I think it is.
And I'm pretty sure Wanning and Campbell warming up for the Scouts. Joey Levitt trying to get out of the bottom of the 8th inning here. It's 5-5. Scouts and Locos are tied up. Looks like we're about to have a pinch hitter come into the game. We'll keep our eyes out for that. Lance, what is the side coming up for the Lima Locos?
Well, we don't know if we're going to have as a pinch hitter or not, but scheduled to come up will be Kyle London, Billy Lapari, and Trey Logan.
Kyle London is coming up to the dish, so London will not be the one replaced.
Why would they replace Lapari after the day he's had?
Is that looks like what's happening?
It could be. Nope, Lapari is going to get on deck.
So maybe Trey Logan. Here comes the first pitch to Kyle London. In there for a strike, so 0-1 now to the center fielder. Joey Levitt has been great in relief tonight. Here comes his 0-1 pitch. Also in there for a strike as London watches that one. Nothing he could do about that.
Scored 1 of the 4th, 2 of the 5th, and 2 of the 6th. That is an awesome drop where you can only find at Simmons Scouts.
And here comes the 0-2 from Joey Levitt. That one is going to be fouled out of play to the right side.
0-2 now for London.
Locos with 7 hits on the ball game compared to the Scouts 4. Here comes the 0-2, and that one hits him. So 0-2 hit by a pitch, and tough break for the Scouts there as London's hit for a second consecutive time. That brings up Billy Lapari.
Trey Logan's still on deck, so no pinch hitters as of yet.
So we're not exactly sure what that was communication from the home plate umpire before the bottom of the 8th started, but 1 on, no outs here. The Lima Locos with this 5-5 tie ball game. And we see bunt shown by Billy Lapari. And a throw to first, and back in time easily is Kyle London. Ball to Billy Lapari. Lapari 2 for 3 today with that homer back in the 5th and a double in the 3rd. Showing bunt now. He's going to lay it down. Picked up by Levitt. He's going to make the throw to first in time. So a nice sacrifice bunt by Billy Lapari puts Kyle London in scoring position.
And that's exactly what you're asked to do if you're Lapari in that situation. A close game, tied all up at 5. You're in the bottom of the 8th inning. You got to do anything you can to get that runner into scoring position.
So that's going to bring up Trey Logan, who is 0 for 2 today. Hit an infield fly last time he was up. That was with the bases loaded. As Henry Rolling is going to be coming to the game. There's a meeting at the mound right now of Coach Cates, David Gahn, and Joey Levitt. Again, we saw Tony Campbell and Thomas Wanning warming up earlier. Last time we saw Thomas Wanning was last night, as he gave up.
I wouldn't go to Thomas Wanning after the game that happened yesterday.
He gave up that game-winning homer, a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th to the Lake Erie Monarchs.
We're going to stick with Levitt for now.
So Levitt stays in the game. That was Jason Gasser who had that bomb off of Levitt, after Wanting yesterday. As Rolling comes into the game. First pitch to him is swinging, missing. So 0-1 to the new batter, Henry Rolling. London on second. Here's the first pitch, second pitch. That one's low for a ball. Evens up the count at 1 apiece. One out here. And then bottom of the 8th inning, a 5-5 ball game. Scouts are up 5-1. Have given up the last 4 runs of this contest. And a pick off attempt towards second back in time. And Kyle London, who got on earlier this inning after he was hit by a pitch on an 0-2 count and was sacrificed to second by Billy Lapari, who has had a day for himself. He's had 2 RBIs and a homer. And now Henry rolling with his first at bat at the day. Swings and misses at that one, so 1-2 now to Rolling in his first at bat.
And interestingly enough, Rolling replacing Trey Logan, teammates at Georgia.
The 2 Bulldogs batting in the 9-hole today for the Lima Locos. 1-2 for Levitt. Looks at second. Here comes that pitch, and that one swung on and missed. Big strikeout for Joey Levitt. His second of the contest. That's going to bring a Grant Williams, who hit a sacrifice fly last time in right field. Miles Wright tried to throw home to the plate to see if he could get out Cole Gordon, but it was cut off by Cale Giddings. And that brought us to our 5-5 score. Now, Williams now for 1 of the game, also has a couple of walks, so this is his 5th bat appearance, only 0-1. First pitch from Levitt. That one in the dirt. Gaunt picks it up. 1-0. Williams also has a couple of stolen bases in this contest. He flew out to left field on Wyatt Hogan in the 3rd inning. 1-0 now from Levitt. Here comes the pitch. That one's going to be chopped over to Christian Binger. Second picks it up, throws to first. In time, just in time. And we're going to the 9th, folks. And it's a tie ball game between the Xenia Scouts and the Lima Locos at 5 apiece. Again, very similar to last night's affair up in Flat Rock, where both teams were coming in tied at 4 apiece before, in the bottom of the 9th inning, a 1 home run. Jason Gasser ended the game.
You got to think, if you're the Scouts, after, like we mentioned, the game you had last night, you lose on a walk-off home run, you'd want to do your best and not put yourself in a similar position tonight. So for the Scouts, you want to find a way to get some runs on the board, and you are in the perfect part of the lineup to do that. And will be led off by Christian Binger. Has been struggling a little bit tonight, but does have a hit back in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 4. And then you bring up Kyle Carnahan. What a day he's had. 2 home runs, just 1 come into the game. He's 2 for 4, and then it'll bring up David Gaunt, also struggling in his own right. He is 0 for 2, has been hit by a pitch, and has been walked. And we're going to see Drew Faintich out here for another inning of work.
So Tyler Anderson went 4 innings to start this game for the Locos. Ryan Ruggles only went 1 inning, gave up 2 runs. And Cole Barlow came in, pitched 2, and now we've seen 2. Drew Faintich, as he's attempting to here, starting at the top of the 9th. Struck out 3 back in the top of the 8th, so of course you wouldn't expect Coach Ernsberger to take him out. But here comes Christian Binger. First pitch misses.
It looks like Seth Kinker is out there warming up in the bullpen. I think we saw him in one of the games the last time these teams played.
Here comes the next pitch, and that one's in there for a strike. 1-1 count now. As we see fireworks in the background.
We did see Seth Kinker. He was the pitcher that came in the 9th inning that Christian Binger got his game-winning walk-off hit against.
So these two players have a bit of history against each other. Well, the one is warming up in the bullpen. Here comes the 2-1. That one's fouled away, so even up at 2-2 to Christian Binger. Binger 1 for 4 on the day. Scouts looking for their first hit since back in the top of the 5th inning. They've been hitless in their last 3 innings of work. Now it just misses to even the count up at 3-2.
If Christian had to get out of the way of it, it's probably not going to cross the plate as a strike, even though it looked like it.
So here comes the 3-2. That one's high, and Binger draws the lead-off walk.
That'll be his 19th on the season, so came into the day 19 and 18 in the hit and the walk category. So he's still just one separating his hits and his walks. Very patient up at the plate.
So another walk by Christian Binger. Now here comes Kyle Carnahan in another big spot with Binger on first, and he shows bunt. And it looks like it tipped off his bat, so it's going to be a strike. 0-1 now to Carnahan. Young Carnahan, 2 for 4 today, both of those homers. That one misses outside. Count 1-1 now to Carnahan.
And Christian Binger with that walk becomes second in the league in walks. Kevin Sullivan, we saw last night for the Monarchs, leads the league with 20.
So Binger 1 away from Kevin Sullivan's total. Here comes the pitch, and another bunt from Carnahan. He's going to get it down, and we put out, but a nice sack bunt by Carnahan, and Scouts playing small ball.
And yeah, and that shows you the versatility of these guys when you have Carnahan, who has 2 home runs today, willing to lay down a sacrifice bunt, gives up his own at-bat to try and further the team. A very selfless play.
Now it's going to bring up David Gon's going to bring out a meeting on the mound with Coach Ernsberger. We're going to see the substitution. So that's going to do it for Drew Faintage as he pitches 1 1/3 innings. He got 3 strikeouts, and if Christian Binger on second base comes home, that's going to be earned to him. So Seth Kinker coming into the ball game, the 5th pitcher we've seen from these Lima Locos.
Yeah, Ohio State.
He's from Ohio State University.
Seth Kinker now on the mound for the Lima Locos. 7 innings. Correction there. 7 appearances.
Kinker, a 6'1" righty at 190 pounds.
3 balls, 11 strikeouts.
Kinker on the season, he's 0 for 2. He's an Ohio State Buckeye, has an ERA of 4.90. This will be his 8th appearance out of the bullpen, has not started a single game. Does have 2 saves, 11 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts, 3 walks, 15 hits, and he has, like I said, 2 losses. One of them was against the Scouts in the walk-off fashion against Christian Binger, and the other one was just the other day on July 2nd when they were taking on the Mariners. He went 2 innings, gave up 1 earned run, 3 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts.
So Scouts second baseman Christian Binger standing on second base. And David Gaunt coming out to the plate, and he's 0 for 2 today, but I don't know if there's anyone else on the team you would rather have at the dish, as Gaunt leads the league in RBIs still with a quarter of the century.
He's right behind in home runs with 5.
So Kinker's been in the spot before against the Scouts, but that one was back at Grady's Field in Xenia, Ohio, the AIA Sports Complex. Now Scouts in the top of the inning. Here in the top of the 9th with 1 out, 1 runner on second base in scoring position for this 5-5 ball game. Here comes the first pitch, and they're going to call time first, just in
David
time.
got something in his eye.
Maybe one of those bees that have been flying around.
Thankfully, the umpire did let him get time, as Kinker was ready to throw.
So Christian gets his lead at second base. Gaunt at the dish. And here goes the first pitch to him. In there for a strike. That one is perfect as perfect can be.
Kinker wants to get started off here with a strike. 0-1 to go.
0-1 to David Gaunt at the plate. Christian Binger on second. 5-5 game. 1 out, top 9. Here's the pitch. That one curves just a bit high. That evens things up on 1-1.
Small strike zone for the home plate umpire tonight.
Kinker coming from the stretch. Here comes the pitch. And that one way outside. So 2-1 now.
2-1 now.
And although Gaunt hasn't gotten on base with a hit, he's reached twice, once with a walk, once with a hit by pitch, and has worked the count very well. 3 full counts in his 4 at-bats.
And those 3 in a row. So we see what he does here. 2-1. Checks in. Good check because that one goes low for a ball. So 3-1.
And unless something's right down Broadway, you got to think he's taken on the straight one.
Scouts would love to get 2 runners on with only 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. Christian Binger now standing on second base, gone at the plate. 3-1 pitch. And there for striking. Lance, you're absolutely right. He was taken all the way on that one. So the 4th time in a row, David Gaunt works to a full count. As the right arm hangs off the side of Kinker. Places second, throws home. The payoff is grounded poor short. Binger will get back to second, and David Gaunt is out on the high throw, but Hunter Williams puts it away. So
and that was really the only place in the infield except for third that you couldn't allow the runner to advance on. So unfortunate there for Dave, but put the ball in play and tried to make something happen.
And Tyler Beckwith now in the game for the Locos, playing shortstop.
0 for 3 with reached base twice after being hit.
Now Cale Giddings takes first pitch for a strike. Cale has been walked his last 2 times at the plate. 0 for 2 got on with fielder's choice back in the 2nd inning. Also flew out to Billy Lepari behind the plate. 0-1 count now from Kinker. Binger still on second. That pitch in there for a strike. It drops off the table into the zone. 0-2 now. Scouts down to their last strike here in the top of the 9th. Here comes the 0-2. Swung and missed. Big hacking off. A lot of air off the bat of Cale Giddings. 4 up and 3 down here in the top of the 9th. And after that strikeout, it'll be the bottom of the 9th now as Joey Levitt's going back to the mound. See if he can get out of this inning and avoid the Scouts losing on a walk-off for the 3rd time in 4 days.
And I got to tell you, I don't like the feeling right now. It's very similar to last night. You have the lead for a good chunk of the game, allow the other team to come back in it, and then you stick with your reliever maybe 1 inning too long. So I could be proven wrong here by Joey Levitt, but I get the feeling that I had last night.
And very ominous fireworks going around in the background here on the 4th of July. Home team out to play with a 5-5 game in the bottom of the 9th. The storybook is set up, and Locals got to write the final chapter like we saw last night. But hopefully Joey Levitt can come out to the mound and work his way out of it. So here comes Mitch Carragher. He's 1 for 3 in this game with a single and a walk. Lined out to Schaefer at short last time. What worries me most is Luke Reynolds, the left fielder, is 1 hit away from the cycle. That hits a home run.
Hunter Williams, also batting right before him, was robbed of a home run earlier in the game.
I'm just saying the cycle would be the almost absolute perfect way to end the game. As the first pitch in there for a strike to Carragher hits the outside corner for a strike. Just thinking ahead here, some possibilities of demise, but hopefully the Baby Blues can work their way out of it. Levitt still on the mound. This 0-1 pitch is going to be hit to center field. Levi Gilcrease on his way back and doesn't make the catch this time. Bounces off his glove. Is going to go towards center field, and the gun from Gilcrease gets it all the way to third. I can't believe how he does that.
It's so funny when people haven't seen Levi throw before. You just hear the press box go, whoa. And it's so funny every single time. So it's not good that they got a double out of that, but to watch Levi throw is just a blessing, honestly.
But a leadoff double for Mitch Carragher. And
for Will Kilgore.
Coach Case is coming out to meet with Levitt. You have to wonder if either Tony Campbell or Thomas Wanner are going to come in the game. It's a very dangerous situation. I was imagine Kilgore will probably trying to lay down a bunt here and put Carragher in sacrifice position on third. So no outs here. 1 runner in scoring position on second base. That's Mitch Carragher, who had a leadoff double off of the glove of Levi Gilcrease. He made a jumping attempt like we saw earlier in this contest. Unable to come up with this one. Scouts trying to avoid losing their 5th straight. and third in their last 4 days in walk-off fashion.
So they're sticking with Levitt for now, but like you mentioned, still some action in the bullpen if things get worse before they get better.
Kilgore again on the day. It's 0 for 3 with a sacrifice RBI. Does have 5 home runs on the year, good for second in the league, and they're going to walk him. They're gonna.
But they're walking him to get to Hunter Williams, who almost had a home run earlier.
And kind of pick your poison with this Locos lineup, but that does set up the double play ball, which is, I think, what Coach Case is going for.
You'd have to think.
Hunter Williams will come up to the plate. Robbed of a homer back in the second. And Levi Gilcrease is 1 for 4 today. Singled in the fourth and came home to score. And there's a fourth ball, and they'll put runners on first and second with no one out. First walk of the day for Levitt here in his 4th inning of action.
Hunter Williams now due up to the Locos here. He flew out, singled. And grounded out.
Runners on first and second. 5-5 game. No outs. Bottom of the ninth. Bunt attempt laid down. Pull back in there for a strike regardless. Williams, the first baseman from Tulane University. The Green Wave from down south. New Orleans, Louisiana. Yeah, the thing is trying to get runners both in scoring position on second and third. Here comes the bunt attempt again. That was really tipped high in the air. And the Scouts can't find it. It bounces foul. Oh, disaster strikes for the Xenia Scouts. They have the pop-up bunt. And it bounced behind the head of David Gahn, who didn't know where it was. Just an absolute heartbreaker there. That was as good of a situation as the Scouts could possibly hope for. And it's popped behind him, now 0-2. We won't see Williams bunting now.
Or will we?
I don't think so, Lance. We'll do it again at 0-2 now. Just more mishaps in the bottom of the ninth, like we saw against the Joes. That one occurs, and that one's hit to deep left field, but hung up. And with a ball off the wall, White Hogan couldn't find it. And they're gonna throw it home. A nice throw by Gilcrease. White Hogan just couldn't find the ball.
I think he thought it was gone. He must have.
As we rule a single, I think White Hogan threw his hands up in the air like, where is it? I just don't think he saw it.
Lost that one in the moon.
So he was stood there like a statue. He couldn't find where that one went. And again, we've just seen so many strange things happen in the bottom of the ninth for the Scouts. We saw the other day in Hamilton, that one, a bunt that flew between Ben Aldridge and David Gahn at home plate. This time the ball gets away from David Gahn in a bunt attempt, and then a fly out to deep left. White Hogan can't find, so bases loaded with no outs here.
So the Scouts are going to need something crazy to happen to come out of this one.
Here comes the third throw from Levitt. Outside corner for a strike. And Reynolds a home run away from the cycle. Here in the bottom of the ninth, tied ball game, no outs, bases chalked. Scouts barely holding on to breath. And here comes the 0-1. That one's hit for center field. Levi Gilcrease not going to get to it in time, and it's going to be a bloop single for another walk-off loss. Unbelievable. Reynolds finishes an incredible day with 4 hits and the game-winning RBI as the fireworks go off all around us, and the Scouts lose their 5th straight, 3rd in the last 4 games on walk-offs. Kyle Carnahan will be our player of the game. Kyle had an unbelievable day at the plate. He went 2 for 4 of 2 home runs and a sac bunt in the 9th. And again, we're just left with that same feeling we've been left with. Lance, it just, Scouts, we keep talking about, we don't know what's going on. The ball's just not bouncing their way, and it seems like they're losing their head in the bottom of the 9th inning.
That inning was just crazy. There's no other way to put it. Carriger has a double. That's all well and good. Levi has a great throw to make sure he doesn't try and go anywhere. Intentionally walk Kilgore. Hunter Williams gets on with his own hit that Wyatt Hogan just never saw out in left field. And granted, he's not an everyday left fielder, although he's gotten a lot of his time this season there. But that's not his everyday position. He's predominantly a first baseman. Didn't see the ball at all. Lost it somewhere. I don't know if he just thought that was gone or if he just couldn't see it. I have no idea what happened out there. All I know is it fell for a single. That brought up Luke Reynolds. And what a day for Luke Reynolds. Had a triple, a bunt hit single, a double, and then another hit. 4 for 5 on the day with the game-winning walk-off single to win it. Everything bad that could have happened for the second straight night in the bottom of the 9th inning. There's nothing else you can do about that if you're the Scouts. Things just aren't going their way like they were the first couple weeks of the season.
You know, the Scouts have a couple of walk-off victories. To start the year, they were 14-6. Now dropped 5 straight to 14-11 on the year. And again, 3 of the last 4 nights they've lost on walk-offs with a 6-0 loss at home to the Monarchs in between. And it's just been a rough week. It'll end tomorrow when the Lima Locos come to Xenia on a 4:05 start in that ball game. But 5 straight losses this week for the Xenia Scouts, who were second in the league to start the week. Had a 2-game series against the Joes, where if they would have won both those, they would have been number 1 in the standings, and now down to 5 with the Ironman still playing well, who got a victory over the Joes today. Not going to be very far behind them.
And the big thing I'm looking at, aside from the fact that the Scouts only have 4 hits